Friends, welcome, welcome, one and all. It is Sunday, February 27th, 2022. Welcome to Virtual Strangers, episode 140. I am your host, Wes. With me, as always, is my good friend, Ruuts. Ruuts, how are you doing this fine Sunday afternoon?
I'm doing awesome. I was just looking at my, I was saying 140 weeks. I was looking at my coffee cup of when it's early on of starting the show and what I look like with my beard. Don't look the same. Everything's different. Everything's different. And I like it. And yeah, I'm doing awesome. Life is
It's
good.
time for a new cup, bro.
It is time for a new cup. Actually, yeah, that's one of the things I was thinking too recently. Because even my Twitch page, it's got that old picture on there. I need to update the Virtual Strangers emblem, and so I've just been lazy, and I need to just redo my emotes. So I just need to just do it.
There's so much it's easy to overlook, isn't it? Like I just last week switched the Virtual Strangers Patreon page over to the new logo and stuff. Like it still had the old Stranger Things icon and all that whole look going on over there. And I didn't even realize it until I'm in there every week, posting things. For some reason it just didn't dawn on me that I needed to move the new stuff over there.
That's just crazy. Life is moving fast, and if you're not careful, you're gonna miss it. Isn't that what Ferris Bueller said? I'm not sure.
Yes, something like that. Something
Sometimes
like that. And
paraphrased.
speaking of life moving fast, I would be remiss if we did not start the episode off on a bit of a grim note. We typically we like to steer clear of the really important things that are going on in the world, but I do want to kick this episode off by stating that our hearts and minds are with our friends and the citizens over in the Ukraine who are quite literally fighting for their life right now, as well as their way of life. And you know, we typically use uh, our hobbies like VR as a way to kind of deal with the kind of horrors and stresses of everyday life, but that has been taking on to a whole new level for these people. And I really um I really can't express enough just how concerned and disturbed we are by the events that have taken place over there this past few days. I hope everyone over there is safe. Everyone, people inside our VR community, and now I hope that everyone over there is able to stay safe. I
Yeah.
wish them the best of luck with defending their homes and their families, and I hope that this nightmare is brought to an end as soon as possible.
Yeah. Any second, hopefully. Yeah, it's one thing. It doesn't matter which political affiliation or side of the aisle. Everybody agrees. Whole thing sucks, and we don't. We just hope it ends and that people are safe. So
It's funny. It's really easy to focus on our differences. It's kind of been the MO, especially in our country over the last few years. But one thing everyone pretty much agrees on is peace. I don't think there are too many common people in the world that find any place for war these days. And war, it typically, or at least in my mind, is sport for those who don't have to fight it. And
yeah,
whenever something like this happens, it kind of just drives home the fact that we really haven't advanced quite as far as a civilization as sometimes we might think.
yeah. Sometimes we need
Um,
a reminder, that we kind of drift backwards, and then it's like, oh God, we kind of hopefully move forward again, right? So
living in the United States and being blessed to live in in this country. Um, a lot of the time when things like this happen on the other side of the world, especially when we were younger, it just seems like something on television, right? And you're empathetic to the idea of common people fighting for their lives, but it doesn't seem real. But now that we're a little bit older, now that we're kind of involved in this, and we have a global community, quite literally a global community, um, this stuff hits home in a way that it never has before. I typically wake up and I'll scroll through my Twitter and my social media to picking up tidbits of news about video games and VR. And just a couple of days ago, as I'm scrolling through my Twitter feed, I see our friends from Dream Dev Studio, which is the developer behind Death Horizon Reloaded, apologizing that they're going to have to halt work on their game so that they can try to get their families to safety.
Oh, yeah.
So again, I mean, it's just the worst stuff. And again, our prayers and our hearts and minds are with them and everyone over there in Ukraine. And Roots, I'm really it's inspiring, just the fight that they've put up. Like, this was supposed to be over with by now. You know what I mean? I know Putin wasn't planning on still being in in the offensive stages of his campaign at this point in the battle, but these people have really banded together, and they're fighting fiercely what in most people's mind is a losing battle. So it really is inspiring, and it's just the worst sort of thing. And I'm gonna stop talking about it, but I've been rather moved by it. Seeing people that I know being caught up in the middle of
Yeah.
this has really kind of hit me in a different way.
No, that's the thing. Yeah, that's all it takes, you know. It's just remember we're all connected, and that's all that matters. That's one of the things my parents always told me is doesn't matter who the person is, what race they are, if you cut somebody, the same blood comes out, right? And I think we're all created by God anyway, so that I think that we're all connected in that way. So why wouldn't you want to have empathy? So for sure, and hopefully, like I said, it ends.
Anyway, enough of that. There's plenty of time and place to talk about this stuff. You guys know where to find me. There's an invitation to our Discord in the description down below. Anybody who feels like they want to talk about this sort of thing or anything, we're there for you 24/7. So be sure to hit us up on there. But Roots, that's not what we came here to do. We came here to talk a little bit about VR, and we have got a metric shit ton of headlines to dive in today. So why don't we kick it off the way we always do by saying hello to our friends in chat. Oh yeah, Decepticon is here. As is our friend Paradise Decay, who says we should all be focused on saving the planet. Um, yeah, well, I mean, everyone can kind of do their part with regards to saving the planet, and there's
True.
so many different aspects. I mean, it's kind of a broad term, saving the planet. There are so many different uh things that need to be saved, or at least in our consciousness. So basically, I think by just remaining conscious of the things that we can do in our personal lives is enough. If you remain conscious of ways that you can be better,
Mm.
then you will be over the long term.
I'm going to
So
start with the
good
man
call.
in the mirror.
There you go.
Yeah, that's the best
This is
way,
what
right?
that's what Michael Jackson said to do
That's
anyway,
right.
right?
Yeah. There's no way to do it if you don't look at yourself and try to introspection. That's the biggest thing. So
There you go. Diz the Game Cat is here. What's up, Diz? As is Greg's VR. Anthony Man Wexford is here. CD is here. Mike Newton says, my heart goes out to the Ukrainian people. Yeah, I think we're all pretty much, most people in the Western world, and I'd say that the majority of those in the East, even when you're talking about common people,
mm,
um, we typically um, stand unified against aggressors in these types of situations. So
yeah.
uh, definitely. Our heart goes out to them as well. Um, let's see here. Greg's VR is here. He, sa- he says, "Whoa, Huh, good God, y'all. What is it good for? So,
Absolutely
yeah,
nothing.
say it again.
Mm.
Um, Evie Man versus Gas. He says anyone who watches Disco VR on YouTube, she is in Ukraine. So I did not know that,
Oh,
but I am familiar with Disco VR. So thank you for sharing that. Hack is here. Hack the Game Cat. I grew up on Ferris, probably because I'm from Chicago. What's up? Um, GT's here. Gamertag VR says, "Hope you're all okay." And yes, he agrees. He stands in solidarity with the people of Ukraine as well. Um, Hussein X is here, as is Mash Daddy. What's up, Eric? Traveling Man 3775. Mepper is here. Oh, speaking of which, remind me, I've got something to say about Mepper here in just a
oh,
second.
I love Mapper.
VR, yeah, I do too. VR Spry Guy is here. He says, I got to get a marker and paint a beard on my Roots coffee mug. We need something that just kind of sticks onto it, right? So we could have both versions of Roots at a moment's notice.
That would be cool. Now, I did hear Mash was telling me that any day now, he may even have them, but he was going to be receiving the Virtual Strangers hoodies in. So,
No, that's right. Yeah, we talked about that the other day. Um, he says he wants to represent when he goes to GDC next month, and I'm like, dude, get it done, make it absolutely.
yeah, I want the flip flops though. Flip flops and a beanbag chair. That's what the QTC has.
Right. Shottown D is here, as is Onakazi, and looks like the whole crew except for our boy Wolvie, which will be here in just a few minutes. AAPJE Apj is here. Techno Glitch is in the house as well. Anthony Man Wexford, I think we already said hello to. Four Wheeling is up in this piece as well. Chris Richardson. Looks like we have a pretty good crew turning out today. Thank you guys for coming. Thanks for hanging out. Roots, lots to talk about today, right? Like we've probably got about double the number of headlines that we typically have, and I didn't even put it all on here. Like there was probably another 5 or 10 that we could have easily spent another hour talking about.
It's crazy. Good. It's a good spread across the board too of news, which is kind of cool.
Well, I intentionally kind of spread it out so that we can kind of hit all sectors. And with that said, we should probably start the way we typically do with a little hardware news. And this first one's very interesting. This first one is regarding Valve. Steam Deck is a stepping stone to standalone VR, says Valve. This article is being brought to us courtesy of Upload VR. Valve president Gabe Newell described the Steam Deck as, quote, a stepping stone to high performance standalone VR, but noted, quote, we're really not there yet. Newell was interviewed about the Steam Deck for the latest edition of Edge magazine. And when asked about the deck's significance for VR, he said the following: one of the things it represents is battery capable, high performance horsepower that eventually you could use in VR applications as well. You can take the PC and build something that is much more transportable. We're not really there yet, but this is a stepping stone. And that's end quote. So this is cool, Root. So there's good news and there's bad news, right? The good news is it looks like everything that Brad Lynch over there at Sadly It's Bradley has been speculating about certainly seems to be a very real possibility, because Brad's been speculating that Valve is secretly working on this standalone headset that's capable of playing PC VR, uh, all on board, which will then also connect to a PC, and for that extra performance. Um, he's been pretty steadfast in this prediction, and everything that Gabe's saying here backs it up, except we're not there yet. Gabe, quote, says, we're not there yet, which means anyone who's been kind of holding out on buying a new headset in the hopes that this new Valve headset's going to drop this year, you might be waiting a little bit longer. You might want to consider picking up something else to tide you over in the meantime.
Scion VR. He keeps talking about
Yeah.
Index too, right? Yeah, and he's been
Right.
waiting so long. I don't know how much longer he can wait for a Radio Runt's Rift S cords. Just both of them went out, so he's having to retire that one because there's no cords out there. So I would imagine he's going to have to get something at some point, and maybe
Yeah.
it'll be the next Quest.
Do you think it's possible that Valve could see another headset, another wired PCVR headset come out before they decide to go the standalone route?
Well, they could. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be one or the other, right? They could be working on it right now.
That's right. Well, we know that there is a version of the Valve Index, kind of a prototype that has that BCI technology integrated into it. Developers have these, not a lot of them, but there are developers out there that have these prototypes. So maybe we could see something along those lines. But again, I would be shocked at this point now if we saw anything new from Valve this year in terms of hardware.
Yeah. Yeah. EV Man says the next iteration of Steam Deck will be the one for VR if they follow through, and I agree with that, as I do agree with Scion needs to cave and buy a Quest 2. He just needs to do it. I don't care about the slider BS excuse. Just do it, Scion, please.
They're cheap enough, right? Like you can get on, if you don't care to get like a used one, you can get on Facebook and pick them up for super cheap. People that got them for Christmas didn't play them or played them once or twice and put it down. Like a lot of crackheads out there, and their loss is our gain, right?
That's right. And even if not, man, $300 is not like breaking the bank. I mean, for some people it is, but I mean, it's cheaper than most consoles, right? So
That's true. It's certainly cheaper than the new generation consoles.
yeah.
So yeah, and again, you're not only getting your standalone there, but you're getting something that plays PCVR wirelessly with no additional cost. I mean, it's a great value, but I get it. I get it. Facebook bad, Meta bad, evil, evil, evil. Yeah, I get it. So, um, anyway, exciting. Nice to have this validation from Gaben. And I mean, this is pretty much confirmation, isn't it, that there will be a Valve standalone one day that will run PCVR games.
Yeah. So basically, he just said, Bradley, you're right. We're working on it, and it's just not quite here yet. And who knows what that means? There's so many games being played. For all we know, 6 months from now, one could roll out. I mean, just because they say one day that we're far away from it, they could be just literally saying that for Meta to hear. The Meta's like, oh, good, they're far away, and then all of a sudden they just slap it down. It's with Half-Life Alyx, portable. I don't know. This is just me talking out my ass, but yeah, anything's possible. So.
Well, they did just launch Steam Deck, right? I mean, it wouldn't make sense for them to say, guys, our next big expensive product's right around the corner. But in the meantime, why don't you lay down $600-800 on a Steam Deck?
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's expensive, dude. That's like, I mean, old computer prices. That's getting close to, half of a computer, right? So.
Yeah, but you can play it over there.
Oh, that's true. You can take it wherever you want. So I don't need to play it over there. I want to play it here.
Never mind the fact that you can remote play on any number of devices, but that doesn't matter. Steam Deck.
Yellow, green, numbers are back. I think we're back. Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm assuming we're back. Wes isn't back yet, though. Somehow the connection's not back. I'm seeing a strong signal. It worked. Last time we didn't know the secret sauce on how to get it to come back. I don't know why it did that. It's something in the network, and it's a problem. I don't like it, and makes me very sad. Now I don't know why. Now I want to know why Wes is. Hey, there we go.
There, now he's back here.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna get off.
Yeah, man, get out of here, bro. What are you
Later,
doing, bro?
We're back.
We're
did
back.
it. Everyone says we're back. I don't see.
No, we're back. Because what's funny is I was just talking to the stream. I said apparently the secret sauce that I was telling you existed. I theorized existed does exist, because as soon as it came back up, it was good again. Now I still have to contact my my ISP, because it shouldn't happen, but we know the fix, and we're back, bro. We did
So
it. We did
so at least at least we didn't have to cancel the show this time and do a
it.
remake, a redo on Tuesday, right?
No,
Like
that's
we
beautiful.
actually we're getting better. When we talked about this recently off air, like this is how you get better is by having bad shit happen and then working through it and learning the fix. There's like a laundry list of bad shit that can happen
Mm.
that we've accumulated over 3 years. This is just the latest thing. But as is the case with everything else we've come up against, we now know the fix.
Yep, absolutely. Greg's VR says the Russian hackers have been defeated, and I was thinking the same thing. Those son of a bitch, man. So happy.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Roots, for working that out. Thanks everyone for hanging out and sticking with us and having faith that we were going to get it back on track, which my friend Roots here absolutely did. PD says, "Who forgot to pay Elon his satellite funds?" Dude, that guy can take my money any day, but we don't have the Elon Musk internet here quite yet.
Not yet.
Starlink, that's right. Chris Richardson says those Starlink satellites are being redirected to Ukraine. Hey, last I heard, Ukraine still had their damn internet on, man. Like the water was on, the electric was still
Oh,
on,
wow.
and the internet still worked after friggin' 4 nights of bombing. That's pretty incredible.
That's crazy. Well, it shows you there must be very tactical where they're hitting, right? So,
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what he claims. But again, we don't want to get off on that
oh yeah.
whole tangent again. So why don't we move into the next headline? Meta jobs point to future AR/VR headsets with cellular. So we moved from Valve pretty much confirming that they are working on standalone VR to Meta kind of working to take standalone VR to the next level by enabling cellular networking in a future device. Why is this significant? Well, it's significant for a number of reasons. First of all, in the light of services like Pluto Sphere, which we featured heavily on our last episode of Strangers in the Night, Pluto Sphere kind of showed us what the future could be for cloud streaming with regards to VR. It's already very good in a very usable state. So you got to imagine that as forward thinking of a company as Meta is, that this is something that they're going to start laying the foundations for right now. Beyond that, you know, we know that Meta's true intentions go much deeper than any kind of a gaming platform. They want people to live in VR, work in VR, play in VR, uh, shop in VR. And to do that, you have to give people devices that they don't ever want to take off. And part of that is being connected all the time, no matter where you're at. Um, you know, this is a headline, Roots, but it isn't exactly a surprise, is it?
No, not at all. And you know what's weird is, like, I mean, I get it. Zuckerberg's a creep, and Facebook is not ethical. And people talk about Facebook like they're the only social media platform that is doing weird things. They're all doing weird things. It's just Facebook is now in the front, and for whatever reason, at least from what I can see, they seem to be targeted, by a lot of different places that used to think everything was okay. And that's good, because a lot of it's coming to exposure, but that doesn't mean that there's not tons of. I mean, clearly they've been pushing the industry for so long in every way, and this is just one other way, right?
Yeah, and we've said it many times. Of course, Facebook does shady shit, just like all other big companies do shady shit. But no matter, I mean, they could be murdering children in the middle of the night. I'm still going to be forever grateful for what they've done to the VR industry and how they've taken that phrase "VR is dead" and flushed it away for forevermore. Um, but with regards to, like, a lot of the heat Meta takes these days, and it's coming from all fronts on them. Um, it's for not doing enough to combat misinformation, if you will. And while a lot of people may look down upon that, I think the only way that you really truly combat misinformation is through debate. So I kind of lay on the other side with in that specific debate regarding Facebook. I kind of appreciate the fact that they don't silence people, that they don't uh, deplatform people, kind of the same way that the Twitters and the other big social media platforms have done over the last couple of years. So yeah, for all of their evils, they do a lot of good as well.
Yeah. Well, that's life, right? Double-edged sword. So
Correct. And anyway, with regards to this specific technology, we know that their designs for VR from day one has always been to kind of make this uh, social platform that people live in 24/7. And half of the equation, the half that we typically focus on, is them being able to develop a product that's light and comfortable, something that uh, has pass through capabilities, or is even just regular glasses, something that you can leave on all day and take it anywhere. The other half of that equation, though, is being connected everywhere. And just because um, the 5G network seems to be finally coming online, that it doesn't mean that we don't have to worry about things on the other end. You have to have a 5G device,
mm.
or else it means nothing. So this is all stuff that makes perfect sense. It's what you would expect from them. And to be quite frank, I'm surprised that it's taken them this long to kind of get started down this path.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess you got to figure that for an executive decisions, or like in the boardroom, until the technology was there, it was something that wasn't really worth investing in. Right now, it actually, the technology, like you just said, the 5G technology is there, and so now everybody's racing to take advantage of it, and so it makes perfect sense that they would make this shift, right? So
That's right. Everyone racing to take advantage of it, including HTC. This next story uh, coming to us courtesy of GMW3. Vive Flow partners with HoloRide on VR in-car entertainment. So we've talked about this kind of emerging platform, this mobile, quite literal mobile VR platform, HoloRide, which is going to create content and services for people to use VR on the road, in the car, and not just as a navigational tool, but actual games and other applications that use real time data from GPS and other tracking equipment that may be in your mobile device or your car. Um, anyway, Vive Flow, or Vive specifically, has partnered with HoloRide, and they're going to be one of the first platforms to kind of embrace this technology. And they expect to kind of have a soft launch before the end of the year with this platform. So, um, you know, this isn't something I plan on having anytime soon, but it's certainly interesting. And one of my main reasons for even including this in the headline is just so Eric knows that there is going to be some kind of
mm.
use for this thing in the next few months. He might want to hold on to it a little bit longer.
Well, how cool. This is the thing. Eric has it, so we're gonna know. He's gonna be able to check this out. Maybe it's got, this is, at least for me, this is my thought for him, his immediate use. He's got a 7-year-old daughter, and I remember when my kids were that age. Maybe they've got some kind of really cool thing to experience, or movie, or game, or something that she can be playing in the back seat. Because obviously, as adults, usually I'm driving, so I don't I don't know how I'd ever be playing. But this is going to be good for like maybe tourist areas. You're riding, going from one place, maybe Disney, or I don't know, from one place to another. Taxi cabs, I don't know. It just seems pretty cool. Although I am kind of strict by the fact that they are using phones as their controller. I wish they would just give us a controller for it. That would make it a little bit more viable. That's Eric's number one gripe about this thing, is the phone is very clunky. So
Yeah, but even like still, I mean, when you think about a platform that's it's using your real time like movement and speed, all of that data, using GPS data, using maps data, so it can tell what's about to happen. If they could sync this up with a fast enough, connection, um, I mean, the software could do some pretty miraculous things, and to have your actual physical body feeling sensations of things that's going on inside the headset would kind of be a first for VR. So I am, mildly interested in this. I hope that when it does launch, that our friend Eric does check it out, because I'd be quite interested to hear how it actually works.
wow. Shen Yi says Vive Flow can fit in the palm of your hand and still deliver a breathtaking experience. So I'm assuming that it must be amazing. I see. This is the thing. This is actually is good news for this thing, because that was one of the things. I guess the second gripe for Eric is there's nothing to do with it, right? It's pretty much paperweight at this point. So finally, it is nice to see that they're delivering something, and maybe this thing turns into something that we didn't think it was going to be, and it's amazing. You never know.
Or maybe it's just an excuse to look at prawn in the back seat.
Well, maybe it's got the best prawn ever. Eric's. Never mind. I'm not even gonna go there. Paradise Decay says, who else likes real time movement?
That's right.
My mom.
Yeah, she does.
You know who else likes playing in the back seat, PD?
My mom.
Need to move my water. I'm like having to look around it to try to hit an easy button. I'm not doing that.
Water? You mean like from the toilet?
Brondo.
Anyway, let's move on from the hardware headlines and into the metaverse headlines, where HTC once again making news this week.
Welcome.
What you need, bro? That's what you did, bro. Treat them home, I can been told, I'm a savage, smooth criminal rapper that's on the road. Blood and tears of work. I've been my dream for a time. Legend in the making, friend claim, then what a sting.
Well, hello there.
HTC Vive announces Viveverse, a cross-platform metaverse. This story comes to us courtesy of VR Scout. HTC Vive this week revealed Viveverse, an open source VR metaverse composed of various interactive worlds, apps, and games, accessible via smartphone, PC, tablet, and the company's new Vive Flow glasses. The cross platform allows users to travel between various platforms like Vive Sync and Engage, a popular enterprise metaverse platform. You can even connect your favorite crypto wallet and import your favorite NFTs using Vive Flow. The goal, according to HTC Vive, is to create an open ended digital universe where users can travel between worlds while maintaining a sense of identity, security, and privacy. The company says partnering with hundreds of partners to expand its growing platform, including Beat Day, Engage, VR Chat, and Vive Sync. Users can connect to Viveverse using the Vive Connect cross-platform app. Roots, I saw this week all over my feed, all over my socials, inside and outside of the VR bubble, almost universally. People laughing and making fun of this concept video from HTC. This is a concept video. It's not real footage. It's not a real product yet.
Hmm.
This is a concept video. So I kind of built this thing up in my mind like, oh God, this must be so terrible. It must be so cringy. And I finally watched this promo, this concept footage this morning. And I got to say, I don't think it looks all that bad, man. Like, this is pretty much what I would imagine Metaverse 1.0 looking like. Am I wrong?
No, I think that's part of it. Like, okay, Decepticon says this looks like a big pipe dream. That was my first thought. 'Cause like you said, it's all concept. Somebody in the chat was saying, well, at least they got legs. Well, yeah, they could have whatever they want because it's a concept art. They'll draw whatever they want in there. Can they do it is the question. Part of the problem is it's HTC presenting this and everything else that we've seen so far. So a lot of people aren't going to take it seriously right off the bat as far as hardware wise. And then exactly what you said. It's 1.0 of what we would have seen from Metaverse. Like, we've seen all this shit. Like, we've been seeing this shit for like a year or two. Every concept art is everything in there we've seen, with the exception of the new additions of the most ridiculous part of it, which is what people really buying wine in VR and spending Bitcoin and like, and I get it. Like, they're trying, that's the biggest thing about the Metaverse that I don't get. I don't understand this NFT BS. It's like, to me, it's like an artist that sells you a piece of art that's the invisible art. Dude, it's the most beautiful art I've ever seen. It's $1 million and you can have it here. It's heavy, you know, like at some point it's weird. And so that's why I think everybody was making fun of it, but it's not ridiculous. It's everything that we would hope to see at some point, especially like the concert parts, right? And getting to be able to, it seemed very interactive. If we could ever get to that way, it'd be cool.
Yeah, I was expecting like these grotesque, cringy avatars and a bunch of people acting completely unnatural. Like, this all seemed fairly straightforward. Although I will admit, there is one part of this story that I do find a bit cringy, and it's the one thing that we've kind of been, needling HTC over from the very earliest days of this show, is we see Meta do something, and then Vive does exactly the same thing. Meta does it, Vive does it. You do inside out, we're going to do inside out. Oh, yours has 4 cameras? Well, ours has 5. Yours has 5, ours has 6. It's always kind of been this copycat, kind of dynamic going on between Vive and Meta. So now Meta has their metaverse. So what's Vive going to have? Of course, it's going to be the Viveverse. So I find that a bit cringy that they literally use exactly the same naming convention, but it doesn't work, Vive, because Metaverse was a term that was already existent before before people started talking about the metaverse. Metaverse was a thing already. Viveverse is just something you made up, bro. It don't work like that.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And as Meta actually thought it out when they came up with the Meta name, right? The Metaverse. Um, but in a sense, this is exactly what we've said is going to happen, and I'm sure Vive will have their version of the Metaverse. Every different big company will. And if you're into Vive, if you're like in China and that's the big company and that they've got the best stuff, you probably will be spending your entire day in Viveverse, going from experience and game to game, right? That's what they want. The interconnection as well. And maybe it's just as much as like VR chat. Think about VR chat. And you've got a huge big hub and all the different metaverses. You can go into the metaverse portal and it takes you into their world and into all of their stuff. And you just, everything's interconnected. It's the new web, right? So
Right. And one thing that I specifically do like about kind of what they're pitching here is they're placing a heavy emphasis on being open source, meaning anyone can participate. Like they're going to kind of lay out a framework for people, but you don't have to apply to join the Viveverse. You just have to, build it within their kind of framework, and anyone can participate. They understand that if we are ever truly going to have a real metaverse, like Ready Player One style metaverse, no one company is going to be able to kind of rule over that. And we've even seen, Meta over the last 6 months kind of come to this realization that they're not going to be able to do it alone. But here's HTC taking that one step further and promoting their platform as open source, which is commendable and exciting.
yeah, absolutely. Berber Cat says, to be honest, all these verses look boring as hell. And that's the thing. I'm sure that somebody's going to come out with one. Maybe it's you. What would you want your verse or metaverse to look like, Berber Cat? And you could create it, and like-minded people like you would come to it. Yeah, the Berberverse. That's a good yeah. So get on that, and I'll be the first one in line. I want to check out what's your idea, because I don't even know what my idea of a good verse would be, or metaverse. So
Second verse, same as the first, right?
absolutely, mine would probably include Tarkov in VR, but I don't think that exists yet. So
Yeah. Well, I think that my personal wish list for a metaverse will take form a little closer to when the technology is actually going to be here. We're in the very early building blocks. We're laying the foundations for the metaverse right now. This is something that's probably at least 5 years away or longer before it gets to any kind of usable state. But with that said, maybe it lands a lot sooner than we think. These things tend to have a way of gaining momentum, especially with the kind of investment that's being kind of placed into the concept of a metaverse. A few weeks back, I kind of, you know, informed you guys that there are, story after story, week after week, regarding new investment into this idea of a metaverse. And typically I don't talk about them, but last week we started talking about them because I want you guys to kind of get an idea of how it really is. Not an exaggeration. There's one of these stories or more each week, talking about millions of dollars being poured into this metaverse or that one. And that's kind of where this next story is going to take us, as Foxconn set to invest $100 million in XR Space's metaverse vision. This coming to us by way of GMW3. On Technology Group, better known as Foxconn, one of the largest technology manufacturers on the planet, has announced a new partnership with XR Space, the virtual reality company founded by former CEO and co founder of HTC, Peter Chow. The agreement will see Foxconn invest a whopping 100 million US dollars into XR Space and its VR metaverse ambitions. So, Roots, I don't know if you remember, but last year we talked a little bit about a story, or maybe we didn't talk about it on the show. But we talked about CEO and co-founder of HTC, Peter Chow, kind of starting his own VR platform. And we all kind of speculated and wondered about what is he going to do? Is this a game company? Nobody really knew what he was doing, and we knew he was focusing on software, but we didn't know exactly, what the purpose of this software was going to be. Well, now we know. This is a metaverse company, XR Space, and they're partnering with a very large and powerful hardware manufacturer with this Foxconn. So we have one side now with the funds and the hardware, uh, which I assume is going to kind of in the future kind of tailor their hardware to the software that's being created by XR Space. And this is really one of a few different partnerships from the East that's kind of trying to replicate what Meta and a lot of the Western companies are doing over here with Metaverse. Um, Again, I don't have a lot to say about this article, but this is just our weekly reminder that $100 million is a lot of money, and we're seeing hundreds of millions being dropped literally week after week.
Yeah, it's exactly what I was just telling whoever it was in the chat a minute ago about creating their own metaverse, right? This is exactly what they're doing. You're going to see all these companies wanting to, it's going to steamroll and more money is going to pour in. And I think it's going to change overnight, or what we would perceive overnight. It's going to be crazy.
Well, what's going to happen? This is how it's going to take place. Because literally, I mean, we've seen billions of dollars since Facebook Connect last October. We've seen billions of dollars through these news stories that have been poured into the concept of a metaverse. So what we're going to start to see over the next 2 years is a collection of about 100 or so different metaverses pop up, each in their own little specific bubble, each offering their own specific thing that they specialize in, or maybe they have a few different things that they specialize in. But we're going to see these individualized pockets kind of pop up in Web3, in this new digital space that they're creating for all of us. When it's going to get real is about 3 to 5 years from now, when someone kind of delivers a standard for all of it to join, like an open XR metaverse, uh, which kind of serves as a connective tissue between all of the individual metaverses. And when we see them all kind of unify and get behind one standard, that's when this metaverse concept is really going to take hold and take off.
Yep. You know what? One of the ones that I think predict will do the best first would be a Disney metaverse, and just because people that love Disney already are so fanatical about it, I was reading this article about neighborhoods or communities built, Disney communities in like Nevada or some other state. They just love Disney World so much. And then they would have all the cool rides, and it would just, you know what I mean? You could only play it in their metaverse or go on these rides. I would go. I think it'd be cool.
Absolutely. D-Real says we're going to see social engineering at its best. Well,
Yes.
that's the thing, man. It's
Oh,
a
wait, that's not
double-edged
good.
sword because it's a double-edged sword because we can kind of see the powers that be behind the social engineering kind of backing off this, 2-year, 3-year long thrust straight up our asses, and it feels good to have them pull it out a little bit, right? But when you look down the road, you can kind of see why. The tools of tomorrow for this type of stuff are going to be much more potent than the tools of the day. So, while it is buying us a little bit of time here with this regard, I'm sure the next thrust is going to hurt even that much more.
Some people are worried about like a burst of CME from the sun, which it is acting weird lately, you know what I mean? And it could, if it at the wrong time for the certain parts of the world it was facing, it could really destroy a lot of technology. But I almost feel like if that were to happen, that could almost be like a blessing in disguise, because you know what I mean? It's kind of like if you have a kid and they're building something that's about to explode, and then the parent runs in and stops it, and you're like, oh, thank God. I feel like we're at that moment almost, but
Yeah, it's kind of odd that the powers that be keep building this digital infrastructure and uh, plan on moving us all into this kind of electronic future. But no one's safeguarding against what you're talking about. Like no one at all is protecting this thing at all. And one day it could just wake up and everything fry. Everything fried, and we're back to the 18th century overnight.
Well, that's crazy.
Um,
You're right. There's no
it is
techno.
crazy.
There's very little safeguarding. But
Yeah. Anyway, the metaverse is a very real thing, and it's going to be a magical place. And some would say limitless. Anything that you can think of, anything that you want can become reality.
It's hard to say what you want without putting up those old masks of, oh, I'm not good enough, or I couldn't possibly obtain this. Complete the sentence. I want, in my fondest moments of wantonness, I want. Mary Lynn, what does Mary Lynn want?
I want a magenta horse. And I want to fly away with him into a reddish background. And I want pixies. Oh, I want pixies.
Good. Good. Those are all doable. Good. Good. Jim, what does Jim want?
I want to write a hemp cookbook using hemp ink, and I want to build houses out of hemp for the homeless, and I want to make clothes out of hemp for the world, and
It's okay. I know it's hard. Jim, say it. You're among friends.
I want to smoke some of the hemp. I mean, just a little, just a little.
Good. Getting more honest.
Yeah.
Jeff Goldblum. What does Jeff Goldblum want?
I want my money back.
Mm-hmm.
And I want angels to give it to me. And pixies to count it out for me, and a gnome or a hobbit or an elf to sleep at the foot of my bed, I just want them all over my backyard. But no matter what happens with any of that, I do want my money back.
Ronnie Dobbs, our newest recruit. Thank you, Greg. What does Ronnie want?
I think I got it. I want to love people. And I want people to love on me. And I want pecan pie. I want angels to make me that pie. I want angels to make me that pie so good. And I want whipped cream and strawberry.
I'll tell you what I want.
Harry, I thought you was in New York.
Yeah, well, a lot of people think a lot of things about New York. I want...
Hey, he didn't pay.
It's $1,500 to say what you want.
Stuff it! I want the old Ronnie back.
This comes to us from Upload VR. Meta AI concept. Create VR worlds by just describing what you want. Meta today showed off an AI-powered concept for creating virtual reality worlds with your voice called BuilderBot. Instead of placing objects from a user interface with controllers, BuilderBot is shown to let you create by simply describing out loud what you want. In the demo, Mark Zuckerberg asked for a beach, then for a specific type of clouds, then props like trees and a picnic. His colleague is even able to ask for specific ambient background sounds, and Zuckerberg asks the stereo to play a music genre. Roots, I don't know about you, but I want a magenta horse and I want it to fly off into a reddish background. Oh, and pixies. Pixies.
I don't know about Pixies, but I want to watch Run Ronnie Run because like Onikazi, I never heard of it, but that's some funny ass crap. And but this is kind of cool, right? This is like you just tell this is it, fast forward where it's at now in your imagination. This could be the holodeck, right? Where you just walk in and you say, I want 1950 Paris or whatever. And this is the reality. We're stuck. A lot of people, I'm not traveling, and things are too weird. I'm just not traveling. There's a lot of places I'd love to go. At time travel, just the implications in VR are endless. And if I could just walk into a room and just have the whole room change into whatever I describe, that'd be super cool and super easy and good for me because I'm lazy.
Really, this is just when you think about what they're promising here with this builder bot, this really isn't that big of a leap. The amazing miracle is the metaverse itself and the ability of the metaverse to kind of give us whatever we want. That's the promise of the metaverse. You can be whatever you want, do whatever you want, have whatever you want. With this builder bot being able to speak it into existence, that's just a question of interface. Like we've had voice commands for some time now. You can put your Quest on right now, turn voice commands on, and operate uh, a lot of the functionality of that device just through voice commands. And so basically, what BuilderBot is the voice commands for the metaverse, and it only makes sense. And I would say that this will be a feature of Metaverse 1.0 when it comes to the actual metaverse. This is just going to be another feature of many, which is just basically the integration of an already existent technology into the next gen stuff. So, yeah, again, an amazing concept, but really what's amazing about it is just the metaverse itself. It isn't so much the fact that voice commands are going to work in it.
Yeah. I just look down the road, and imagine this thing attached to AI. You know what I mean? Like it says, with AI it is kind of AI, but I guess advanced AI to where somebody in the chat was saying it's really just search engine to match you with stuff that's out there. Well, what if what's out there is infinite because it's all connected and the AI can, and on a dime, deliver everything you're looking for. This is really, I think it was Zaylan Muru earlier. This is really the discussion people should be having as this technology gets closer and closer. There really is a danger to it being more enticing than the real world. If it becomes, as things get weirder and crappier, and people kind of go more introverted and want to be in this thing more and more, and it's delivering that dopamine that Facebook and Twitter already are in different ways, maybe even like somebody was saying, a more deeper way that we're not even understanding. It should make people pause and think about it, because I'm so excited for this, but then like the hairs on the back of my neck are rising at the same time, and I don't know if it's excitement because it's cool or excitement because it's dangerous. You know what I mean? It's I guess probably a little bit of both.
Yeah, well, as amazing as this may seem, being able to speak things into existence in your digital reality, I think what would truly be amazing is the next thing, and that's what you're talking about with the AI and the algorithms and the machine learning. What's going to be amazing is when you don't have to say it, when you just go in and it knows already what you want, and you don't have to. It'll get to the point where it's literally going to be telling you what you want instead of you telling it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's just crazy. Greg's VR says it's repeating discussions about the internet back in the 90s, 1990. Yes and no. Like things are getting a little. It's a little bit closer. You know, they in the internet back then they weren't talking about putting the source of everything in a chip in my brain, which is the ultimate goal, right? For that super immersive experience. And that's a different discussion.
Well, yeah, I mean, well, just because they were having these discussions in 1990 doesn't mean that they're any less valid.
True.
Actually, it just goes to show that the people that were having these discussions in 1990 were exercising tremendous foresight, because we're getting closer now to what they were talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
Traveling Man says, "I want money." Hell yeah, bro, you got it.
Yeah, me too. That's what I wanted. I want Zuck to tell me what's in the box.
Yeah, for
That's all I
real.
want.
Like nothing in the box, dude. That's the dirty little secret, is it's just a box. Anyway, let's move on from the metaverse, and let's do something that we haven't done on this show for a very, very long time. Let's talk about some deals. Let's talk about some deals headlines. You know, when free stuff and killer deals went away, everyone's libraries, which were growing week after week after week, just kind of stopped. They all just kind of froze. So before we get into our first deals headline, let me just take the opportunity to remind everyone to go get your free stuff. Go get your free Epic game. Claim your PlayStation Plus games for the month of February. They're going to switch over this week to new stuff for March. So go ahead and pick up all your free stuff while you're thinking about it, because you don't want to be one of these people 3 months from now when something gets VR support and you didn't get your free copy when Wes told you to. So go do it right now. And in the meantime, we'll get into some of these deals headlines, like this one. Amazon selling Refurbished Quest 2 with $50 discount. So these, I went and checked this out specifically on Amazon. These are premium renewed headsets, which means they've gone back to Meta. They've got new head straps and facial interfaces on them. That's like a brand new headset, and to boot, it has full warranty on it. You get a full year warranty with these, and $50 off both versions. So you can get the 128 version for 250. You can get the 256 version for 350 pennies to take your first steps into the metaverse. What a great gift idea, huh, Ruuts?
Yeah, absolutely. What's the downside? You know what I mean? Because this is the thing. We were talking about used headsets earlier, right? You were saying, if you don't mind doing that, that's my biggest fear is, you know, I see these posts on Mash's group where somebody's posting a picture of their lenses with purple splotches because they touch, you know. I see posts where people are in their pool with their headset on, you know what I mean? And they're like, I'm in the sea, and like all these weird posts. And I'm like, and what if you get one of those? What if you get at home and something weird's happening? Well, now you get to know that it went back to them. They fixed it. Essentially, somebody said, oh man, my audio's not working. They sent it back. They fixed whatever the issue was, or maybe, like you said, they returned it after a week and said, I don't like it. And then they just send it back. There's so many reasons, but they fix it. They warranty it. There's no downside to this. You're just getting a cheaper version, right?
Right. Yeah, there's literally no downside to it. There's no risk. There's full warranty, and you're getting it from Amazon, which has a great return policy in and of itself. If you were by some weird chance to end up getting a lemon in the mail, you could just send it right back, dude, and get your money back or get another headset. Yeah, it's win-win-win. And retail price for these things was already ridiculously low. And the fact that you can get it for even less now, and I don't know this to be fact, but I would bet that you can use these refurbished headsets along with the referral bonus, which they recently moved back up to $60 for both the refer and the refer E. So $250 gets you one of the best and most up-to-date VR headsets on the market today, with $60 back in store credit. I mean, dude, why, Scion? What the hell's wrong with you, bro? Come on.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Yeah, you just took the words right out of my mouth. I was just about to say, Mist VR, and then have Scion come out of the woodwork and then say, Scion, bro, here's your chance. 250, 120. I mean, that's such a cheap chance just to try it, right? If you don't like it, send it back. Man, that's what I mean. I would do it.
And you know, Scion specifically in his case, he needs something that's friendly for people who wear eyeglasses. And obviously, the glasses spacer isn't a very effective means to mitigate any kind of like potential damage. But the way that these lenses are kind of built into the cups inside of the headset, this thing is tailor made to get prescription lenses to slide on over it. This is the most versatile headset I've ever seen with regards to potential accessories. Like this thing, you can completely break it apart, and there's all sorts of different third party accessories that you can get to make this thing better. Yeah, man, it's kind of a no brainer at 250, really.
Well, and you got the $50, and that was one of his gripes too. Is he didn't want to have to pay for inserts. Well, there's your $50 is the cost of the insert, and you're good to go. EV Man does not trust refurbs because a lot of times they don't test in corner case failures. Some things will have to go through testing, and he doesn't think saving $50 is worth it. Not to him. For me, I would agree with you if the customer service was speculative. If we were talking about HTC, absolutely. But I've only had really good experiences with Oculus, and the fact that they're giving you a full warranty. It'd be worth trying it. You would know within a week or so, and if you had to turn it, send it back, you could, but it also depends where you live. It'd be really easy for me to run down to Kohl's or to Whole Foods and drop it off in about 5 minutes and just wait for a new one. You may be in a situation where it's a nightmare and it's taken weeks or months, or maybe you don't even have that option to return. I don't know where you live. So.
I can certainly understand the trepidation, but with that said, I've had very good luck in my lifetime with refurbished and open box items. I don't buy a lot of that stuff, and I am very careful about what I choose to buy that isn't 100% brand new. But I've had really good luck, and I've saved a lot of money taking solutions such as this. And if I didn't already have, I mean, seriously, I have considered getting a third headset this past week based
there you
on
go,
this. Just
bro.
my family is into it like never before. Like they all want to use it every day now, and the two just isn't enough. We need another one,
right?
And if we weren't so close to Cambria coming out this year, I would probably be jumping all over this.
Yeah, because I mean, one of those is gonna get passed down anyway, right? Once you get the Cambria, that'll be your driver, and then you'll pass down the rest of the stuff to slum it to everybody else. At least that's the way I would do it. So,
by the way, they're about to get a very big quality of life upgrade as my Bobo VR M1 Pro got here yesterday. So shout out to Bobo.
yeah,
I have not installed it yet, but maybe this Wednesday. If not this Wednesday, next Wednesday, we're going to do a breakdown and comparison of the M1 and the M2. So stay tuned for that. But super excited. This I know you said, Roots, that you don't think that you're going to like M1 as much as your M2. I'm the opposite. I think that I'm going to like M1 better because it has that. It's based on a strap instead of the head prongs, which I despise.
see,
So
I guess it's a head shape because the head strap to me is one extra step. The prongs have never affected me. I've never felt them. I've never had any weird pressure, whatever. And so, like, I'm messing with that strap, and if the strap, you know what I mean, you have to adjust it every time to make it perfect. And for me, with the other one, I just cup it around the back of my head, and it's done. You know what I mean? But maybe it's head shape. I don't know. I guess we'll have to experiment with
sure.
it, and then talk about it. But I just don't know. I still have some experimenting to do with the Elite strap.
Yeah, yeah, and I as well. I have not tried it on yet, so I don't know. I might like the M2 better as well. But the cool thing is that I do have two headsets, so I can just literally
Swap.
take one off, put the other one on, and it's going to be really easy for me to check out. You guys let me know if you would like an unboxing video or maybe an up close look at both of these head straps in VR because I have that capability.
I'm well. Can I throw my 2 cents in? I would like to see it. EV Man says he looks forward to a review on M1 v M2. That's a second person that said that there's interest in it. I think it'd be cool. And I don't. When was the last time you've seen any unboxing in VR? I have not seen anybody doing that, so I think it's a good idea. Let's do it.
Do it. Well, if this is something people want, then we might just actually have to do that because we have this
Nice
right here. Looks like Johnny 5, right?
It does. It's cool. Looks very high tech.
But it's not like a professional level camera, but for something like that, we can do a vlog style video. It doesn't have to be super high definition. It will be full 3D VR though, so that will be something that you haven't seen before, and that's what we're trying to do here, right? Make content that people haven't seen yet.
Absolutely. Tass says he returned his conversion kit, didn't like the honeycomb, it grabbed his hair too much, and I was just thinking that I didn't have that problem. I didn't have that problem, Wes. I don't know why that wasn't a problem for me. It was silky smooth on my bald head.
So you know who doesn't mind having their hair pulled a little bit, right?
My mom!
You know who else is silky smooth on their bald head?
My mom!
Well, I guess a different.
Anyway, moving away from hardware deals, let's move into some software deals. Game of the year, Hitman 3 is on a 40% discount on Steam. So, in spite of all the trepidation and mixed reviews, thanks to channels such as ours and a few others, the truth has finally shown through about this game. While it is true that the marketing for this game may have been a little bit misleading, while it's true that a AAA company like IO Interactive should have been able to do full VR integration into their Hitman game, it's also true that this is the best version of an amazing AAA VR game. And a month after it goes on, after it launches on the Steam, it's already at 40% discount. I recommend it all day long. Jump on this now. It is worth every penny of the $30 or $35 that they're asking for it. This is a great AAA game. We don't get games like this in terms of quality and scale in VR. So everyone should own it.
Yeah, absolutely. Just play it as was made, as they intended it to be played, seated, and you're good to go. Drillo said he just played through all three of them, from start to finish, and it was one of the best games he's ever played. And I agree.
Yep. And for those who don't know, Jarillo is kind of our resident PC snob. Like, he's master race to the bone, and if a game doesn't live up to the hype, he slays it. And even like, I've seen many great games get trashed by Jarillo. So if he's praising this as a worthy addition to the PC catalog, then it's good, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, 40% off discount on Steam. That's an amazing price this early into the life cycle. Get it now while you can.
Yep.
And one more headline related to deals. Red Matter, Trover, Blaston go for cheap in Humble VR bundle deal. This is the VR Discovery bundle, which is going for a minimum price of $11.86. And you can have those three awesome games and then some. That's not all, Roots. This bundle includes Cookout, a sandwich tale, Blaston, Panoptic, Trover Saves the Universe, Synth Riders, Red Matter, and Tower Tag. So you get all of that for less than $12.
Wow.
That is an amazing deal. And the best part of it, a significant amount of the $12 or more that you pay for this goes to charity. So it's for a good cause. And these are great games. You know, Synth Riders, Trover, and Red Matter are among, the very best in the VR catalog. So if you don't already have these games, or even if you do, I mean, I typically pick up these bundles just so that I could have the keys from them to give to people because they're so cheap.
Yeah.
Anyway, pick up your VR Discovery bundle now. That's an amazing, amazing deal.
Yeah. Yeah. And a couple things that really strike me with something like this, especially with Pluto Sphere, we're talking about on Wednesday, right? All these people that just got Quest 2s that are checking out Pluto Sphere and they're like, man, I don't have all these games to play. Well, $11, you could be helping charity and you get all these games to check out. 3 of them, like you said, are amazing games that I would say are must plays anyway. And the second thing that struck me, super cool. How cool is it that Alex and Skiva's Between Realities is on this page? That is so. I just think that's so cool, man. Shout out to Between Realities. Check them out if you haven't seen it. You're living in under a rock. That's amazing.
That is crazy. Shout out our friends Alex and Skiva. Diz the Game Cat with the $4.99 donation says Brian
Nice.
Paul just drops breaking news. PSVR 2 release window Q1 2023.
Oh wow. Yeah, well, I'll tell you,
that strikes me odd, sir.
Well, what's funny, I'm interested to hear. I am so invested in what you said. Like Mash, when I went on Q2C and he was talking, he's like, we thought about talking about PSVR too, and we said, what, you know what I mean, with how good your breakdown was. And the logic behind all of that, I would be surprised if everything doesn't go along that line just because of the last time. And, but either way, even Q1 2023 is amazing. And I now I want to go see what the video is and see what this inside knowledge is. Super cool.
Well,
Text Christmas.
Yeah. Mine too. If this is true, and again, I don't know what this is. I'm just reading the comment. If this is true, we can bet that there's something wrong. Like, if they can get, well, first of all, let's put things in perspective. If it comes out in Q1 2023, that's not that bad. That's a few months longer than we thought we were going to have to wait. What scares me about that is if you can get it out at the beginning of next year and you truly are capable of that, then why wouldn't you put it out a few months sooner? Push really hard, even if you have a few less at launch. Why wouldn't you want to get it out there before the holiday? Like, you're talking about launching a product after everyone's spent all their money. That doesn't make any sense at all. So something's wrong. Either they're waiting for to have a certain number of units to launch with, like maybe they want to have 2 million before they even hit the market with it, or they need software for it. This is such an advanced piece of hardware with advanced features. They really just firmly settled on the spec sheet within the last 12 months or so. So people really haven't had a lot of time to build proper exclusives for it yet. It could be that they're waiting on some games that aren't quite ready yet so that they can have that banger lineup. But again, I don't know how true this is. I don't know where this info is coming from. I haven't had a chance to talk to Brian about it yet. We're going to have a little bit of a break in the action here in a few minutes, and I'll read up on it and see what I can find out. And we'll come back to it later.
How interesting, though, right? That's like, it's just to me, it's very intriguing. It's not like it's just, oh, this is a rumor we heard. This is Brian Paul. And so now I want to know what's going on. So,
Well, what this basically means, this
He's
is
in the chat. This is really just a PS5 thing.
really just a PS5 thing. Well, they want to have a certain number of consoles in the wild before they pull the trigger. How many more do they think they're going to get out there in 3 months or whatever?
That's crazy. Well,
I
you
don't-
know that they're pushing now, you know, with all that company in China. Is that company in China that is supposed to be making the PlayStation 5s, right?
Yeah, they're making PlayStation 5s and they're making Quest 2s. They're probably working on Project Cambria as well. I forget what the name of this company is, but this is a huge electronics manufacturer in China that does all this outsourcing work. They're also contractually bound to make the next Pico headset as well, from what I understand. So they have a lot of irons in the fire, so to speak.
Yeah. So, I mean, really what that comes, I mean, it could be just the fact that, you know, something weird's, I mean, anything could distract between that company being able to deliver, you know, maybe they're getting delayed somehow. You know, just even with how they can deliver it, or who knows, man. Crazy.
This is an interesting choice with interesting ramifications with regards to the market, because this is Sony choosing not to be the first with eye tracking, like first affordable consumer headset with eye tracking integrated. They're they're going to have Cambria out. Possibly even the Apple headset will be out by then. Both of those with eye tracking, and then even with Cambria now, we're hearing that it's going to have the facial haptics as well. So, like, literally, this is Sony choosing not to be the first, right?
Yep.
This is odd. This is odd to me. An odd choice, and I'm sure that there's got to be more to it than just they want to make sure that they have another, 5 million consoles out there to sell to. I don't know, man.
This says
Weird.
This says hashtag tax refund 2023. Absolutely.
Well, I've got the money for it now, and I think who was it that said it? Techno Glitch. I think what he's saying is true. I get a pre-order for Christmas. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Cool. Well, it's not that much further than it would have been a few, like 3, 4, 5 months maybe. So
yeah, it's not that much longer. If this is the thing that worries me, like if it's coming in Q1 2023, fine. I can wait a few more months. We've waited this long, right? We can wait a few more months. What worries me is the fact that it's started getting pushed back now, right? What I'm worried about is that it doesn't really come in Q1 2021. That's a year. That's a year from now. So, like, that's I really don't want to wait a year. Could you imagine, we get closer to Christmas and they were, well, Q2.
Well,
Q2 for sure, guys,
this is the thing, because somebody suggested that before, would it make sense at some point to just push it back to the next holiday? And I mean, obviously you still want to get it out there.
Kind of would. I get it. Yeah.
So
yeah, but again, every quarter that goes by, every month that goes by, your cutting edge headset, your cutting edge technology becomes a little bit less cutting edge and a little more status quo. So yeah, it's interesting. I look forward to learning more about this and finding out exactly the details behind this. But crush me, Brian. I can't even get through a show without Brian Paul crushing my soul.
let me ask you this. Do you think we'll still find out more details at CES then? Like,
you mean GDC?
I mean GDC. I mean,
do.
yeah.
I do. I do expect that we'll hear something, even if it's just beginning to reveal some of the nuances behind the technologies included in the headset. This is the Game Developers Conference. They're going to talk to the game developers about how to make hybrid games, I would imagine, and maybe we'll start to hear some of the titles that are going to launch once we have this headset in hand.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, regardless of when it comes out, I think it's still going to blow away everything else out there. And I'm super excited for it. So,
yeah, me too. That's the problem. I'm too excited for it.
Yeah.
Anyway, it'll get here. The day will come, and oh, what a glorious day it will be.
Yep.
Anyway, let's.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to segue into the to the gaming headlines, but you're way ahead of me. So proceed, sir. VR sci-fi shooter turns your hands into laser cannons. This story comes courtesy of VR Scout. Rogue Ascent VR is available for free on MetaQuest and MetaQuest 2 headsets via SideQuest. Rogue Ascent is a killer-looking VR shooter that makes use of Quest hand tracking technology to immerse you in a sci-fi adventure where you use your bare hands to blast your way through multiple action-packed levels. Like other games published by Click Games, such as Coffin Rot and VR Dodgeball Trainer, Rogue Ascent VR was created specifically with Quest hand tracking in mind. To access your weapons, you just hold up your hands and make the classic finger guns gesture. Created by Purdue University grad Jordan McGraw, Rogue Ascent VR features a simplified combat system designed specifically for hand tracking controls, including auto fire mode and homing projectiles. There's some other fun weapon controls that you'll need to master with your hands, but you'll have to play the game to find out how they work. We don't want to spoil everything for you here. Interesting, Roots. By the looks of this trailer, there's a lot going on here. I mean, uh, a very unique art style, not the most, uh, I don't know what the word I'm looking for here, but I mean maybe a little basic with regards to the art style, but a very cool, very striking, very good looking art style. But what really sticks out to me is kind of the nuanced gameplay. I mean, this isn't just a point and shoot arcade shooter. There's different weapons and all sorts of different actions going on here. And then when you consider all of this being done without controllers, I don't know. It's a little weird to me. Like, I think this game looks fun, but I don't know that I want to play this without controllers. Like, I think I would rather have controllers for something like this. This is a shooter, bro. This is a roguelike shooter at that, with lots of different weapons and stuff. Wouldn't we be better off with controllers?
Yeah, that's what I think. Every time they try to introduce anything that is hand tracked, right? Or without a controller, I think a haptics, especially guns, you want to feel like you're holding something, you want a trigger to pull, you want the haptic. And I don't even know how they're going to get with, I guess it's really is going to come down to gloves. So this whole thing of being able to use your hands in VR without a controller, I think is only going to work for media consumption, because you don't give a shit if you're changing your Netflix video, if you feel the haptics or not. You just want to start. You know what I mean? And you don't need to have a controller, and that's actually very beneficial when you're just lounging, watching TV or watching a movie. Now, when I'm playing a game, I need to have something in my hand, and preferably have a Mr. Tass gun stock attached to my controllers. How am I going to do that? That would be weird if I'm trying to use a Mr. Tass with no controllers.
You could just hold it.
I don't know that would be weird. Task, you need to get on that for this game. You need one you don't need your controllers for. How weird. I don't know. It could be amazing. Maybe this is something down the road that would be cool, or I don't know. I'm sure there's there's cases for it, but for me, I just don't know that I would ever play it that way.
Tass needs to make a version of his mini stock, but instead of magnets, it has thumb holes.
Be perfect.
No, but this looks like a cool game. I mean, you go back and look at that trailer again, you see a lot of stuff going on here that makes it look like it has a little more going on than even a great game like Arcade. You
Yeah.
know, I see this, I think of Arcade, but it looks like there's more nuance with this. And to beat it all, it's roguelike. So you never play the same level twice in this one. It's free, by the way, through SideQuest. Anybody can download this and play it right now. It's interesting. I, I have a hard time thinking of a scenario where a shooter isn't better with something in your hand. Like you're supposed to be holding a gun. Like it seems like using hand tracking would break immersion rather than add to it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Onikazi has the $1 million question. Can you use controllers if you want? And and I'm sure maybe the devs would probably see, because we're showcasing their game. If that's not an option, you need to make it an option. Otherwise, this game is dead on arrival. It's a cool novelty. People said there's going to be people out there that want to try it, and let those people try it and think, wow, this is the best hand tracking thing I've ever played. But let the rest of the people that don't want that experience, give them a reason to still get Rogue Ascent, and then your game succeeds either way. Options are always king, right? So
look, I'm all for hand tracking. Like I'm not a naysayer of that technology, but I kind of feel like the games that are really going to be successful that use hand tracking as an integral part of the control scheme are new concepts for games that we haven't thought of yet. Games and concepts that are built around having your hands in the game. I'm sure that those games are out there and those games are going to come someday. I'm not so sure that taking an existing game, an existing concept, an existing genre, and kind of trying to shoehorn hand tracking in it just for the sake of having hand tracking is the way to go. But again, I think this is a great looking game, and I'm going to try it out regardless. So, like, good on these devs. If the game's as good as it looks, I'm sure it's great. I hope that there is a controller mode so that I can use my controllers if I want to.
yeah, absolutely. And I'm horrified and intrigued at the same time, because I just saw the birth of Wall-E, the movie, right here in chat. Tass says, I can envision something that would both gives you the something to grab and alleviates having to use your own muscles. So that would be amazing. Now we don't have to use our muscles like suckers use their muscles. And then the next thing, we don't even have to stand up anymore. And then we like something can roll us over. But
beautiful future.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a
Beautiful.
dystopian future from hell that sounds very intriguing.
Yeah. So anyway, that's Rogue Ascent VR, available now on SideQuest, for Quest and Quest 2.
Yep.
Speaking of Oculus Quest shooters, I think that most of us would agree, not all of us, but most people would agree that the standard kind of lies with Population One. And we've got new news from the realm of Population One via Upload VR. Pop One teases Sci-Fi City Edition to map. Hot off the back of wrapping up its first ever Duos event, Pop One is teasing a new area for its map. Yesterday, developer Big Box VR tweeted a picture of what looks like a futuristic city. It features several buildings, airships resting on the rooftops, and a poster for chicken that's definitely not a jab at any fast food brands. Skyline also gets a neon tint. There aren't any details about when this new area of the map might roll out just yet. Don't forget, though, that Pop One's new areas traditionally replace existing sections of the map, just like in other Battle Royale games like Fortnite. So this isn't likely to be an expansion of the overall surface area. Roots, always good fun when Pop One decides to overhaul a piece of their map, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. You know what's weird about this? And Mash, if you're out there, kind of just check Clucking Bell, just chilling, listening to the show. we talked about this a little bit on Mash's thing on Thursday on his podcast, and what he was reading said that it was supposed to be in addition to the map, because that was one of the things that we, even when this first came out, we always thought, okay, when are they going to expand this map a little bit, give us a little bit more area? And I could have sworn that was what he was reading. Go ahead.
That's how I took it as well. If you don't mind, scroll on up to where they have that Twitter thing linked and click on that. And let's click through to the original Twitter post, because that's the way I read it as well. And I'll click through with you on my screen here as well. And we'll all just kind of read it together.
I don't see any. I see a bunch of replies.
Hold on. I've got it for you here. So they just tweeted this picture out.
Yeah, I see it.
This isn't the picture I saw. I saw a different picture.
Okay. Let me see
maybe
if
this wasn't.
Maybe there's another link.
Yeah, here it is. If you click on, go back to where you were at. Excuse me. Click back in Twitter. Click on Population 1, like the account. Yeah, click on their name. All right, now read the first tweet there. It says, coming soon, our new map, Metropolis. Full battle royale, all in Metropolis. Combat elevated, chaos high and low. A city labyrinth to endlessly explore and master. Launching March 17th, 12 p.m. Pacific time. Daily tours of this massive city next week. So that sounds to me like a new map, does it not? Like a new map, not a new piece of a map, but an actual new map.
Well, it says full battle royale in the corner of the map of Metropolis. Oh no, it says all in capital letters, all. Very emphatic, like emphatical saying. And that's why I think it's weird, because the story that you were reading, literally, what piqued my interest was, I mean, obviously they're good journalists at Upload VR. They theorized. They said it sounds like this is the way it's always been, so it's gonna probably be this. And you know what I mean? I disagree, and I think it's the exact opposite. I think they declare, it's kind of like that one thing with the pistol whip, right? We were talking about last week, and how everybody was confused, and you were like, no, this is like a new experience, right? I think society in general is just not being able to read through the lines for a lot of things, which is weird. I don't know.
Well, we're going to get to pistol whip. I wasn't exactly correct about that, but I wasn't exactly wrong either. I had the gist right, but the wrong end result. You'll see what I mean in a few minutes. But this looks cool, man. This is like a futuristic, almost cyberpunk looking city for Population 1. And as fun as the base mechanics of this game are, really that's all they need to keep this thing fresh, is keep new maps for people to play. And you don't have to do very many, like 2 or 3 a year would keep this game fresh forever. This would be an evergreen game, just like Fortnite. And what I would specifically like to see is, I'd like to see this be an adjoining area, like a new map, but like you can see it. Like if you climb the tower in the regular Pop 1 map and you look out over the horizon, over the mountains, you should be able to see this one in the distance. And then maybe, depending on what game mode that you choose, you can play in this map or that one, or maybe you play like a larger match, which kind of encompasses both maps at the start, and then kind of, collapses in on a certain point in between.
I think this is important, because the game is really, really popular. It's still really amazing. But for me, it's changing one corner of it here or there. It's kind of cool, but it's not exciting in a sense where this, a completely new map, I think is going to be cool. And like somebody said in the chat, they were saying, I think Traveling Man, it says, yeah, there's a whole new tower in the background. So that's what he was thinking as well. I mean, even the tower is different. So I just think it's cool, and I welcome it. And the fact that we're still playing the game this long after, and that was one of the things when we talked about it and it got Game of the Year. Then one of the discussions we had, and we had to overcome, is, will this have standing power? Will people still be playing it a year and a half, 2 years down the road, which they clearly are, even more so than they were in the beginning, I think.
Yeah, yeah, this game doing quite well, and I agree. The new maps, even if they just do one of these a year, it would be huge, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this one looks cool, man. It gets me intrigued. And we were planning on going in there this last weekend with Messi, but he never showed up by my stream, so we ended up Tarkoving it. But I want to get back into Pop 1 for sure. And I guess we only got a couple weeks, and this is out 2.5 weeks.
I'd be down for that. You know, we've been kind of flirting with the idea of doing another money show for the patrons, and I know we've already done one from Pop 1, but that's been a while.
Yeah.
Why don't we do another one?
I think
Pop
we should.
1.
Yeah, me, you, and Mash. We'll get it all done. That sounds good.
Absolutely, absolutely. So stay tuned for that, patrons. Got that coming up ASAP. As soon as we can all be off work at the same time, we'll hop in there. Probably Tuesday?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Yeah, Tuesday night. You heard it here first. Money show Tuesday night, live from Pop 1. Anyway, Imagine Roots. Think about the map from Resist on Oculus Quest. This Metropolis map, fairly big thing, with lots of little corners to go around and hide in. Now imagine you take 16 people, you drop them in that map all over it, and it's Pop 1. I mean, that sounds pretty fun, right?
Yeah, sounds amazing to me, for sure.
And by the way, this map, it looks a little nicer than the Resist map. The Resist map's kind of generic. This looks a little bit more detailed.
This is going to be really amazing, I think. It's going to be very detailed.
Awesome. So you heard it here last via Upload VR. Pop 1, Sci-Fi City coming. What did it say?
March 17th. Actually, a lot of stuff's
March
dropping on the 17th. Like 3 or 4 games have either new content, or new games.
That's immediately following or during the GDC, isn't it?
I think so.
It's that week. Yeah. So maybe maybe it's tied to that. Maybe there's a reason behind that.
Yeah.
So we won't know. We won't know until then. Anyway, speaking on sci-fi cities and futuristic large maps, that very much is the case with this next story.
Yeah? What's up in the big world? This is all fucked up.
Planted a hole in him! NCPD!
All right, and so we are back, and I'm rejoining the stream as I'm literally pausing in the middle of PSVR without parole's report. From what I can tell, and I didn't get to finish the video, but I think this is Brian specifically, leaking this information. He does cite multiple anonymous sources,
Hmm.
and from what it looks like right now, according again to multiple people, that this is being targeted for early next year,
Wow.
based on PS5 supply chain shortages. So they want to have more consoles in the wild before they try to launch platform on its back.
Yeah.
So that's a bit interesting. I mean, because sure, there's been supply issues with PS5, obviously, but they've sold a lot of them, and really, it's the demand is what's causing all of the shortages. They've sold a lot
Hmm.
of PlayStations. They're a little shy of what PS4 did at this same period in its lifespan, but they're very close to the PS4 numbers at
Hmm.
this point. Um, but yeah, hopefully Brian's sources are wrong. But right now, it doesn't appear to be the case. It appears that it's going to be Q1 next year at the soonest, and that's a gut punch.
Yeah, it sucks. How crazy is it that there's so much demand still for PlayStation 5? They're almost got the same number of sales, even though they've been very limited and everything's been so weird. But Derail, and this is going to be a knock at all you Xbox players, just want to warn you. Derail last week said there was like one day where all the Xboxes were there all day on, you can't even, you go to one of these sites to get PlayStation 5, it's snatched up immediately. Xbox, not so much. And it's not saying it's not a good console, but it is what it is. PlayStation is everything that you said you love about it, is why it is exactly why it is. The exclusives, the amazing controller, the hard drive, the Tempest audio, all these are revolutionary things, and Xbox has another console that's comparable to, but more stronger than the last. So
If you could do everything on your PC that you could do on a PlayStation 5, then they'd probably be a lot easier to get as well.
that too. Well, and that's another thing. They've set themselves to where I guess it's not even, they don't even really care, I guess, at some point. Right?
Anyway, that's another topic for another day. I just wanted to go ahead and update people on what that was all about. But let's get back to the topic at hand. This coming from multiple news services, but this specific article coming from GMW3, a new teaser has appeared for Cyberpunk 2077's VR mod. And since this article launched almost a week ago, the mod has launched. So the Luke Ross Cyberpunk 2077 VR mod is now available to subscribers to his Patreon. And we just got a nice 5-minute look at gameplay footage, and man, it looks pretty good, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It does. It looks amazing. You know, I couldn't believe how amazing it looked. And I was just saying to Radio Run, I was knocking the game because I own it on PlayStation 5 and I got it for $10 and I just haven't played it. Maybe I need to go back into it. But I want to play this version as well. And Rendered Reality says they're loving the PS5 controllers, downloaded the demo today of It Takes Two, so the wife and I can try it out. We'll buy if she likes it and wants to play it. It's one of the best games I've ever played, and I actually own it on the PlayStation 5 as well, and it's phenomenal. So definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this game for a very, very long time. I actually was going to pick it up and play it flat when it launched, but it launched to such a tidal wave of negative reviews, most of which were based on the performance of the game. It really wasn't anything about the content. But I decided to wait, and now I'm glad I am because it's playable fully in VR now, and it's not just the Luke Ross mod. You know, this Luke Ross mod's getting a lot of attention this week, and rightfully so. The guy's done amazing work in the past, but there's also a free VR mod available from Ralph, the guy behind Vorpex. And the interesting thing about the Vorpex mod Roots is it's not completely gamepad based like Luke Ross. The Luke Ross mod, you're playing it the same way you would play it on your screen, holding a controller. The Vorpex mod has motion controls in it, and they're implemented a little bit different. They're kind of gesture based, like you have to like move your hands like this to steer instead of like physically grabbing the wheel in the game. But from what I understand, after you get used to them, they work quite well. And beyond all of that,
it's free.
You get to aim. You get to aim with your instead of aiming where you're looking, you get to aim down the sights and point with your hand. So I don't know which one is better. I haven't tried either of them, but I don't think that it's cut and dry either way. I think that from what I'm hearing from people who've tried both versions, they both have their positives and their negatives. But I don't know, Roots. I don't know which. I do think I'll end up playing deep into this game in VR, but I'm not sure which mod I'm going to end up landing on. I'm going to have to try both of them out.
I think my guess, this is my prediction, is going to be Luke Ross's, because as good as Ralph's stuff is, usually there's so much tinkering involved that I've experienced, and Luke seemed to be more full-fledged. Now, that being said, a lot of the mods that I've tried with from Luke Ross have also felt like he's moving from one project to the next because there's so much pressure. He's got a lot of patrons. He's doing a really good job offering amazing content for them, myself included. It's just, we wanted to have that perfect experience. So,
yeah. For what it's worth, our friend Paradise Decay has recorded a side-by-side video for us, and I think he's going to launch it tomorrow so that we can kind of get a direct comparison of the two versions and what they each have to offer. He did share a screenshot with me earlier today, a side-by-side screenshot, and graphically, as far as detail goes, now I can't speak on performance. It was a screenshot,
right?
But the Vorpex version seemed a bit more clear. It had a little bit more detail, where the Luke Ross mod seemed to be a little bit. I don't want to say blurry, but it was certainly softer image wise.
Yeah, well, see, that's what just knowing what I know about the Luke Ross mods, because I've experienced the GTA 5 mod from the beginning and watching it progress. Same thing with the Red Dead Redemption. This thing just dropped, and that's one of the things is he's gonna, as he fine tunes it, it'll start to get sharper and better. But what I do know about, at least my experiences versus, is I've always felt like his mods were more full-fledged VR as far as how everything felt. Red Dead Redemption 2 is I still like, I need to finish that game. Like the game is so amazing, but being in VR, we need to get you into that mod soon too, Wes, because I that's gonna blow you away. So
Well, I love to be blown away. So yeah, I agree. We need to get it, dude. There's so many things. I almost want to quit covering new releases just so I can play all the AAA VR and flat mods that I have to play at this point. Like I just started on Fallout 4, and I don't feel like I'm going to be done with it anytime soon. But now they're dropping Cyberpunk in my lap, which is something I've been waiting a very, very long time on. Yeah, man, there's not enough time in the day to play all this stuff.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and rendered reality. When I said free, you do have to buy
No.
Vorpex. You don't?
No,
Oh.
the Vorpex mod is free for all. It's not, you don't have to have Vorpex for it.
Wow.
Anyone can install the Vorpex mod.
Well, that's
So no.
that's impressive right there in and of itself, and it's smart. You know, do that for one game, right? Is it just? I'm assuming that it's for that specific game, and then if anybody's like, I don't know about Vorpex, you know, does it? Because everybody has that question. Well, if you own Cyberpunk 2077, there's a free mod. Check it out, and then you buy Vorpex because it's so amazing, right?
With motion controls, that's important. Yeah, one is a gamepad adaptation, and the other one is with gesture-based motion controls.
See, I don't
It's
care.
gonna be interesting.
I don't care about that. For me, if somebody said, hey, we've got a Red Dead Redemption 2 mod, and you have more full motion controls over the gamepad, but the gameplay is a little bit clunkier, doesn't feel as much like you're in full VR, or maybe scales off a little bit or whatever, yeah, you can have your full motion control. I'll take my controller, and the immersion of being in that world will supersede how I'm interacting with it. You won't even think about it within 5 minutes. You're getting crazy and shooting shit, and I love aiming with my head, you know. Also, I don't know. No, I'll leave that one there.
Anyway, I agree. I'm like you. Like I don't mind playing VR with a gamepad. I won't do mouse and keyboard, but I have no problem at all playing VR with a gamepad. It's really going to come down to the game itself, the experience of the game. You know, what the visuals look like, how the game performs on my machine. You know, which one feels the best. If one gives me a headache and the other one don't, I'm going to go with the one that don't give me a headache.
True.
And really, that's what it's going to come down to more than any kind of interface. It's going to be all about the quality of the experience and the comfort level.
That's absolutely true. Tech says that and I was telling you this when the video was on, that they driving with a wheel makes the game so much better. I guess he's been using some kind of a mod that you have to get Xbox something or other to use your wheel. But that's just one more added immersion, and that's cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if there's a lot of driving, and I'm sure that there is, maybe it'll be worth the hassle of getting that set up. I do have that wheel over there collecting dust. Maybe Luke Ross will be the catalyst to get me to finally start using that thing like it deserves.
I think it should. You know, I dusted off my HOTAS last night to play Star Wars Squadrons, which was really fun as a PvP thing. We need to get you in there for that as well. But you need to get a HOTAS. It was night and day difference from using the controller for using my HOTAS. My skill level shot up because you just have so much more control of the ship. It's cool.
Yeah, that game's awesome anyway. I would have jumped in there with you guys if I didn't have to work. Like it was literally right when I was going to work, or I would have been in there with you. Squadrons, another example of the type of game I was talking about a moment ago. AAA VR. We have a nice little catalog now of AAA VR, as well as, you know, flat to mod to PC VR. There's a nice little catalog of probably around 30 to 50 titles that you know, are 15, 20 hours or even longer of just high quality VR that I need to dive into. So when virtual reality 2 comes out and doesn't have all of the best reviews, it just doesn't get any attention from me. But with that said, according to Road to VR, the virtual reality 2 update purportedly addresses many of the key issues that were cited when the game launched just a couple of weeks ago. Virtual Reality 2, the latest VR title from developer Tenderclaws, launched early this month. While the underlying game design felt promising, it was overshadowed by a range of technical issues. The new update released today purports to have fixed these key issues, which should now improve the player's experience. Um, this is one that I just chose not to cover, Roots. Like I started on the preparation, like I was going to play through virtual reality 1 just so I could have some sort of gauge to judge the sequel by.
Mm.
But we ended up not getting a review key for it, and I was just going to buy it anyway. But then it launched, and then I heard what people had to say about it, and then I lost all enthusiasm and desire to even play this at all. Luckily, as we already knew, Tenderclaws is a quality VR studio, and they have corrected their game in short order. I'd be interested to hear now what people think about it, and if it's good and as promising as people claim that it is, maybe we'll give it a look at some point.
Yeah, I like the first one. I thought the first one, the story, I told you and Mash, definitely check it out. I was intrigued in watching this one, or watching it. I guess I kind of, it's an experience, experience, whatever game. I mean, you do so much in it, but, and so I was looking forward to it, and then I just kind of forgot about it, right? I mean, there's so many games come out, and a lot of times it's just whether we get access to it or not. And then on top of it, there were so many voices in the VR community that we respect, like Gamertag, that were basically like, don't even try it. I think that's what he said, or at least basically wasn't the best release. And so it just kind of fell by the wayside. But it seems like that it's only been a couple weeks. They already fixed all these improvements, right? And so yeah, if it's seeming like it's worth checking out, I'd like to check it out myself. I like the first one.
Yeah. So kudos to Tenderclaws for prompt resolution of the problem. Hopefully, this will solve most people's issues with the game, and we'll be reporting on it in sometime in the near future. EV Man versus Gas says, does the Vortex version do it justice, or should I just pay $10 and get the Luke Ross version? Again, Petey's doing a comparison video. It'll probably be out tomorrow. Beyond that, when we get into that game, I'm going to try both versions out as well. So stay tuned. If you want, I would start on the Vortex version, see how you like it. Yeah, it's free. And I'm not going to, it's not going to be forever before we start on this one. I mean, we might not get to it this week. Again, I'm kind of just now starting to get into Fallout. But I'd say within the next couple of weeks, we'll probably be diving into this one, and we'll have a lot more information for you on just which version that we prefer. And if I had to bet, Roots is going to like one thing, I'm going to like another, and then Eric's going to land somewhere in between. But we'll have all the info and the why, the logic behind it. So make sure you're subscribed and that you have rung the notification bell if you haven't already.
Yeah, and if you didn't hear Wes, Vom Red, I still want to know what that means.
Click on it one day, man. When
No,
you just don't care.
I'm scared.
When you don't care about your computer anymore, just go ahead and click on it.
I'm scared. I don't want to click on it.
Anyway, speaking of awesome updates coming to recognizable franchises, Until You Fall to get two-handed weapons in a new update. This coming from Upload VR. The previously teased Until You Fall update has now been revealed, and it includes new weapons and more. Version 1.3 Roots will launch on March 17th and is headlined by 3 new weapons: the Cold Iron Great Axe, Captain's Warhammer, and Fate's End are all two-handed weapons, meaning they'll change up the game's regular dual-wielding combat. Check them out below. And as you see, as you scroll down a little bit, there is a picture of the 3 new weapons. It really isn't about the weapons, Roots. It's about the fact that they are two-handed weapons. It's a fundamental change to the combat, which has previously been dual wield based combat. If you have completed this game already, these weapons will automatically be unlocked for you as you return to the game. If you have not completed the game, this is something that you have to play and unlock.
Oh wow!
So
how far in do you have to play?
just,
You have to finish the game to unlock these things?
I don't know. I don't know how deep you have to go.
That's crazy.
But this isn't just for everyone. This is for people who have been playing the game.
That's true. Well, I own it. I'm not excluded. Definitely, you know, this is the funny thing. I got Masher to agree that he is going to do a stream soon. He's going to stream Till You Fall, and he's going to buy Garden of the Sea, and he's going to stream that. He said because he's been so, for a game that he did not try, he's been so flippishly negative about it, and people love it, that he's going to pay out of pocket and check it out. So I think that'll be a very good stream.
Yeah, I look forward to that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, Roots, what do you think they called this the neon update? Like, I don't understand.
Kind of looks like there's some neon on the ground. I don't know. Everything seems to be neon, right?
Well, they spelled it with a K, like knees, like your knees.
That is weird.
Like, I don't. Maybe you can cut cut their legs off at the knees with these weapons. I don't know, man.
I don't know. That is weird. Well, everything's changing, you know, spelling, idiocracy. So I'm intrigued now. Mash is like,
Corporate Zombie says, yeah. Corporate Zombie says, I got to the end of Until You Fall on the second highest difficulty. Pretty challenging and great fun. Yeah, it was hard enough on just like the regular difficulty.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely, I know I put it on the easier difficulty. Not much for parry, so.
I, on the other hand, like that type of defensive / counterattack style melee. Like, I'm not the biggest melee
I don't like melee
person. Like, I'm not a big melee game type of guy, but when I do play it, I like it to be nuanced and incorporate like defense is a must. Like, there needs to be some kind of defense that you have to perform to be able to attack. Otherwise, it's a hack and slash game.
Yeah, I'm not into hack and slash. There's a lot. I like options like Dark Souls, or I guess the new released Elden Ring. You play a quick player that's got a quick roll, maybe with some magic instead of and do more shooting stuff from a distance, and you approach it from a different way. Some people love to use the shield. I just don't like it.
Anyway, this is a welcome update to an already popular title. Kind of amazing that Shell Games is still supporting it, to be quite honest. As long as it's been out in its current state, it's nice that they're just dropping new content out of nowhere, like a year plus on. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it just shows you what, Shell Games is just amazing studio, as they've been putting out games like Garden of the Sea and some of their other games. They're still been working on this in the background, which is super cool.
Absolutely. And speaking of studios that should be commended for their excellent support of an already popular title, this next story fits that description to a T.
You took a step into our world. From the ruins of the future to the tracks of the past. What if you could relive it all? What if you got an encore? Dive into 2 new scenes based on Pistol Whip's critically acclaimed campaigns. 2089 and Smoke and Thunder. When you're done with that, play your way with any of the 3 new modifiers. Sharpen your aim, focus on the beat, or choose targets in any of the 30 scenes in-game. Take your pick with the new weapons or winter skins. Then, let your friends try. Challenge each other in the same room with Party Mode on your very own local leaderboard. All this and more coming to Pistol Whip in 2022. Play the Encore update first on February 24th.
Pistol Whip update to add new levels, modifiers, and party mode this week. This comes to us from Ben Lang at Road to VR. VR rhythm shooter Pistol Whip is getting another free update this week come Thursday. The Encore update will add 2 new levels, a party mode for local pass and play, and new modifiers for even more ways to tweak each level to your liking. I'm not going to go on to read the history of Pistol Whip. We all know what Pistol Whip is and what it has been. We kind of speculated last week that this was Encore update was just going to be another content update. I speculated that it was probably going to be another experience like the last 2 updates, Smoke and Thunder and 2089. This not exactly that, but it is a new content update bringing 2 new maps. Interestingly, the 2 new maps are based on 2089 and Smoke and Thunder, only these are regular Pistol Whip maps, not campaign. So they both kind of tie in, if you will, to those story campaigns, which, by the way, are, in my opinion, are the best part of Pistol Whip. Not only that, they're further taking the reins off the rule set, allowing players to play the game however they want, with whatever weapon they want. You can literally set the thing up any way that you like, even to the point of replacing the enemies with targets. If you want to go through and practice some target shooting, you have full control over how you structure your game that you want to play. And then beyond that, they're adding a new party mode to the game, which it will, for the first time, present you with like this pass and play type of party game where you play a level, you take the headset off, you give it to someone else, they play a level, and then the game gives you a leaderboard for you and your friends to kind of keep track of who's winning and who's not, which I think that's pretty cool. Although maybe 2 years too late on that one.
Yeah.
I don't know how people feel about passing headsets around in 2022. But I certainly like the idea, and I like where they're going with it.
Well, I mean, this is the thing. If they're in your house already, you probably don't have a problem passing it to them. It's just a matter of, it's just, we want to, ideally, how cool would it be to play any of these maps co-op or, just kind of like you do Synth Riders, you know what I mean? Like, and you're going down the thing and you can see the other person, and however you do it, it would be cool to be able to play together. Even if it took you into your own instance and you're sitting there talking to your friend and they're doing their thing, but you start out together in the beginning, that would add a huge chunk, kind of like Demio, right? So you got your Demio table, for a private party, and people come in, and then you sit there and hang out and talk, and then you go into the Pistol Whip and you're able to talk the whole time. I think it'd be cool.
Yeah, I agree. And that's really all that's left for them to do, right? Is put proper multiplayer into the game. Like, it's got everything else to the nth degree. Like, they have supported this thing like no other. It's almost No Man's Sky-esque, their level of support that they've put into this thing.
It's worth it, every penny. Every penny you pay for it now. I mean, not that it wasn't from the beginning, but they've added so much content. It's became a no-brainer for the cost of it. It's what, $30, right? I think, or was.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was. I don't even know if it is anymore, but
let me see.
yeah, it's certainly worth it. Regardless, tons of content here. Again, complete freedom on how you want to play it, and the story campaigns are just friggin' amazing in this thing.
Yep, $30
really
on Steam.
$30 for it. Yeah, good price for it. Certainly worth $30. And I really, they're gonna have to start charging for this content at some point, man. Like, they keep adding to it for free over and over and over again for years now. So, man, you got to think. I've heard a lot of people talk about this, like this is going to be the last one. That's why it's called Encore. While I would like that, for no other reason more than I want to see the gallery episode 3. Um, I don't believe it. I think they're going to continue to support this game for years to come.
Yeah, as long as people pick it up. I mean, just do another DLC, just like Walkabout, $3. It's so cheap that it's not that big a deal, and everybody gets it, right? So
And I think people would. I think people are ready to pay for DLC to this.
yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, Cloudhead Games, a quality VR studio. Also a quality VR studio, Coatsink Interactive, which we have just found out, courtesy of GMW3, has 3 VR projects in the works, including, and it even hurts me to say this, a PlayStation VR 2 launch title. This by Peter Graham. Coatsink's previous games include Shadowpoint and Jurassic World Aftermath. British developer Coatsink has a long history in virtual reality, from early titles such as Esper through to more recent offerings like Jurassic World Aftermath. And it seems as though the studio is continuing that trend, with parent company Thunderful Group's 2021 year-end report revealing that VR projects are in the works, including a PlayStation VR 2 launch title. The internet sleuths over on Reddit discovered the official confirmation that Coatsink is developing a video game for the launch of PSVR 2, although it doesn't state what it could be. Just as important is the fact that Sony Interactive Entertainment still hasn't revealed when the headset is likely to arrive. And again, we just found out, courtesy of Without Parole, that is likely to be about a year from now.
Damn it.
Damn it. Anyway, this is exciting news. Coatsink Interactive does great work. I mean, not only did they do a great job with the Jurassic Park franchise, or Jurassic World, if you will, franchise, bringing in even the voice talent from the actual movies to take part in the roles in their story-driven game. Shadowpoint was just a high-quality puzzler. Period. Like it was. That was great. That game was great in terms of production as well as the quality of the puzzling in it. Just um, a high quality game from an improving and top level VR studio. So I don't know what kind of PSVR launch title that they might be working on, but I'm pretty confident that it's going to be very good, whatever it turns out to be.
Yeah, super cool, right? I didn't play too much into that Shadowpoint. I needed to play more of it. I know it had Patrick Stewart, so
yeah, and no, it was good, man. Light puzzles. I like light puzzles. Like it's a different thought process to solve that type of game, and had a cool story. And great production value. It was really one of the best and most underrated Quest titles on the market right now.
Huh, you convinced me now. I'm gonna have to go check it out. Dark Angel as well says Shadowpoint was lovely, and so you convinced me. Dark Angel, you and Wes, you just twisted my arm. I'm checking it out again. I don't know when, but soon.
Oh yeah, one day we'll get to that.
One day. Yeah.
After we play Cyberpunk, after we finish with Fallout 4.
Fallout 4. Oh my God, Fallout 4. I was to Wes. Wow, man, it's so good, right? Obviously, you're just kind of barely dipping your toe so far, but what an amazing world. Even flat, but being in that world is amazing.
Well, that's it. I haven't really dove too much into the actual, campaign very much. I've just been kind of messing about in this beautiful dystopian open world that I just love being in. I just love being in that world. Like there's something about
the story too.
The ruins of the modern world is just it's fun to spend time in it. I don't know. I just enjoy exploring, and it's an open world, big, huge open world, great production value, beautiful game. I have a feeling I'm going to really, really like it.
That opening scene was shocking. The story is crazy. So that's what really will, I think, hook you once you start to figure out what's going on, or even just a little bit. It's really good.
Forward to it. More on that most likely this Wednesday. I don't know if I'm really into it. We might wait and talk about it next Wednesday. I might want another week in it. Anyway, moving along, talking about popular titles getting ported into VR. Questcraft ports Minecraft Java Edition to Quest 2. This is coming from Upload VR. Questcraft, a new Java Edition port for Quest, does what Microsoft has yet to do: bring a playable version of Minecraft to Quest headsets as a standalone experience. Questcraft launched in beta today and acts as a wrapper/mod for Minecraft Java Edition that can be side-loaded on the Quest headsets, allowing players to play Minecraft as a standalone experience on Quest with full motion controller support. Similar to the popular ports of classic PC games from Team Beef, the Questcraft release doesn't actually distribute the game itself, only the wrapper that allows it to be launched and played on Quest. You'll still need to own a legitimate copy of Minecraft Java Edition, which is a different release than the Windows 10 Microsoft Store or Bedrock versions of the game. You will need a copy of Java Edition for the mod to work. This is interesting, Roots, and really cool because there's a lot of things that you can do with Minecraft Java Edition that you can't do with Minecraft proper. Now, once you get into the game, the base game, they're fairly identical looking. I mean, they're both very much Minecraft. But what Java Edition allows for is a lot of modding. There are tons of mods and texture packs out there that are available that you can apply to Java Edition that you can't apply to Minecraft proper. And from what I understand, this Questcraft version brings most of that functionality over to Quest. So most of those mods and things that you're using on your PC copy of Java Edition, all that stuff's going to be able to work, or at least most of it, on the Quest as well. And this is cool. Just another example of modders taking things into their own hands. People have wanted Minecraft on Quest forever, and the developers have dragged their feet for years over this, and the modders just said enough. We'll do it ourselves.
Yeah, it keeps happening, which is good for us, and it makes these companies look stupid. And they're not making the money, man. At some point they're gonna have to realize we need to be proactive in this stuff and start thinking ahead instead of being reactive. Daniel Cass says, I would get this if I didn't have the PC version. Well, Wes just made there's mods that I guess you can attach to this. You can't attach to the other one. And like when my kid was when my son, he's in his 24, his 20s. When he was young, we went to the moon on one of these editions, right? It was cool. It was a special Minecraft mod edition. And so that's kind of cool. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, and I'm not the biggest Minecraft expert, but my children love it, and my son especially. Like, we own Minecraft on friggin' every machine that we have. Like, I've got it on PlayStation 4, I've got it on PlayStation 3, got it on PC, I've got the VR versions and non-VR versions. That they have the mobile versions on their iPads and tablets. And even though they had all that, like, he insisted last year that we get Java Edition for his gaming PC. And I'm like, dude, we have Minecraft on everything. Why do you need Minecraft again? And this is what he tells me. It's just because there's so much more you can do with Java Edition than the Windows Edition. So
yeah,
that's cool. It's cool that that Quest players are going to be able to access this now in standalone VR. And I'm sure that one day we're going to get the official version as well. So never fear that. I'm sure that's coming down the pipeline.
Right, probably sooner than later, as they got all these other games coming out. Wolvie has a good point. You never understand the massive popularity of Minecraft. It could be a big seller if it came officially, and I agree. It's just like what's that other game coming out with the where everybody's sus? That's like eluding my mind. Somebody in the chat, somebody in the chat will say, but the game that's really popular right now with kids, or I guess it was
Among Us.
Yeah, Among Us. So that is going to sell a lot of headsets when it comes officially. And each one of these type of games, Minecraft was the first game I played in VR. I've said that many times. It's amazing. I loved the game, and I think it's going to be big when it's officially on Quest, and even this version as well.
Daniel Kess says, and he's absolutely right, that Vivecraft is the Java version on PC VR, and you can use mods on it as well. So yeah, basically this is Vivecraft, but for Quest.
Yeah.
It's Questcraft.
Yeah. And this, am I wrong? Does it, I thought this said that you're actually using like your arm and stuff instead of just hitting a button like in Minecraft PC, right? Or maybe I'm...
Well, it said that it has motion controls. I don't know if that's what it means. But yeah, you would think so, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's how I read it. And so that's cool.
Yeah, that would be cool, because when I asked my kids, why don't you play Minecraft in VR more? That's what they say. Like they don't want to be pushing buttons to swing their arms and stuff. Like they want like full VR support with motion control. So
your kids are becoming snobs. They must be watching Virtual Strangers.
Right. Yeah, you're right. Well, he's got a gaming PC now, so I mean, he's part of the master race, bro.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, one more headline before we get into the week's reminders, and this one is a doozy.
Hey everyone, I'm Tamter from the After Fall community team. Today, we are going to talk to you about After the Fall and showcase some of the exciting content coming up in the Frontrunner season. Horde mode is coming to After the Fall. In this mode, up to 4 Harvest Runners will deploy to a contained area where Snowbreed will come running down from all sides, and you will have to keep at it and survive for as long as you can. You will be able to bring your best weapons to survive the incoming Snowbreed hordes and reap the rewards. Starting off, we'll be offering 2 maps, Junction and Highway. We'll also have a brand new Harvest map. After the Fall's Bread and Butter mode will take you to the streets of Hollywood into the Boulevard Harvest site. With so many Harvest Runners having joined the fray since launch and clearing our harvest sites, the Snowbreed are also evolving further. The Skimmer will be appearing on your harvest runs and drop a huge bounty of harvest if you manage to take it down. The first additional weapon coming to you is the Revolver. This special killer hits really hard, but the trade-off will be your magazine count. But as everything in After the Fall, getting the right gloppy or roppy for it may help with that. Additionally, one more weapon type will expand your arsenal, and on top of that, a totally new radical wrist-mounted power device. Up next, player customization system will allow you to finally pick the right fit for your runner. And similar to the weapon skin system, these can be unlocked through playing the game and clearing challenges. Lastly, you'll get to face your fellow runners in a new Tundra Dome map called Stockpile. And now you can truly rise to the top against everyone in our brand new free-for-all PvP mode. Also part of this PvP update will be harvest rewards for the top players in each match across both Team Deathmatch and free-for-all. Here's a look at our roadmap for the Frontrunner content, and stay tuned on our socials for more details as they come. Thank you so much for your time, thanks for playing After the Fall, and of course until next time, stay frosty.
And one more time, courtesy of Upload VR, After the Fall's Horde mode and new maps were revealed in a first look new video. So this past week, we got an exclusive first look at what's coming to After the Fall as part of the game's first season of content, otherwise known as Frontrunner. The Frontrunner season promises to bring a host of new updates to the zombie shooter, which launched on Quest 2, PC VR, and PlayStation VR in late 2021. We already knew the season would deliver a Horde mode, new maps, and a new enemy type, but developer Vertigo Games gives us a closer look at all of these elements in the video. Arguably the biggest addition to the game this season is the Horde mode, which will let up to 4 players take on waves of Snowbreed hordes and survive for as long as they can. You'll be able to use your own weapons from the harvest runs and play on the 2 starting maps, Junction and Highway. Horde mode is planned for a February launch, as is a brand new weapon, the revolver. Anyway, I don't want to read through all this stuff again after you guys just saw the video. You get the point. We're getting 2 new maps for the new mode, Horde mode, this month. We're also getting the revolver this month. Next month, we're getting a new harvest run, a new PvP map, and by April, we're getting a couple of new weapons. We're going to be able to customize the avatars, and we're getting new Snowbreed, which behave significantly different than the other Snowbreed. Roots, I mean, this is just supposedly season 1, and it's delivering what this game needs desperately, and that is some variety.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm everything that they got on there is going to draw me back in. And so I pretty much I've been telling Mash, because every time he brings it up, I've had my fill for the most part. I got over 50 hours in the game, and it's the same. Now this is adding new elements, and like Wolvie said, this is the exciting part. Some of the game, I would call them game breaking in certain instances. Issues are being fixed. No more whole round ending if the leader of the group leaves at the last boss, right? No more being stuck as Jimmy, Dark Angel says. These are things that we talked about right off the bat. We said, there has to be a way where, and I don't know if this is exactly what it's happening, where people can drop in, drop out, whatever. But just solving some of these issues is good. So.
Yeah, man. I played the other day when we were testing out Plutosphere, and I didn't get clipped into the wall one time.
Nice.
Through the whole run, and that never happens. So that I could tell a bit of an improvement with the gameplay. Even the boss fight was a little bit more challenging because I don't know if the boss was regrowing ice or what, but like we killed him and he still had like ice armor on. Like, so I don't know. Took forever. It took a lot longer for us to kill him. And when he finally fell, he still had ice armor on. So I'm thinking he either regrew it or something. But it's a little bit more difficult to lock the smasher up now. How before you could pretty much lock him up just by 4 people continually firing on him effectively. You can still make him pause, but it's a lot harder to just freeze him in his spot until you kill him.
Yeah, this makes it a little bit more difficult, right?
So, a little bit more difficult.
D says she saw in Beardo's video the revolvers unlocked when you reach wave 20 in the horde mode. That's kind of cool. That's actually pretty far in to have to survive to unlock that. So that's cool.
Yeah, and it gives people an incentive to play. Typically I'm not one who goes for these type of wave based modes when they're added into a more linear campaign based structure. But if you give me incentives like that, or a weapon that I can take into my harvest runs, yeah, now I'm down. We'll do some horde mode.
Yeah, you tie them together, give people a reason to go into them. And maybe they should do that for PvP as well, right?
Perhaps.
Get people in there.
You know what? When I played through this the other day on Plutosphere, while it did, have my profile with all of my guns and all of my friends and everything saved in through cloud saves, I guess after the fall cloud in this case, it did make me play through like the tutorial part again and the opening sequence, and it made me realize what this game really is missing. And it's nothing like super major in terms of gameplay, but I feel like they kind of made a similar mistake. And don't get me wrong, I love this game and I still stand by it being the game of the year last year. But it could be better, and I think everyone can agree on that this game could be better. And I think they made a similar mistake to what Marvel Powers United VR made. Because after you get out of that first little room where you pick up your gun and you set your settings, you play through a little story bit. And your colleague had just got frozen outside the door. You get ambushed by a horde of zombies. You end up getting captured by a juggernaut, which I guess is impossible to kill because I unloaded into that dude and couldn't kill him. But after you get frozen, this scene plays out where this truck just bursts onto the scene. This old guy pops out of the back, shoots a zombie right before it gets to you, jabs you, brings you back to life, puts you in the back of the van, and you get a little 1 to 2 minute story sequence riding in the back of a van where he's talking about this, that, and the other thing that's related to the backstory of the game. I feel like these sequences are what the game is missing. Like we have these harvest runs, right? That are all kind of connected with backstory, but they're disjointed. You're playing them one at a time. I feel like if they wanted to, they could have tied all these harvest runs together with these sequences like the game starts with. It's the same type of thing you would see if you went and played a modern arcade shooter at the arcade. They have these sequences of action storytelling in between the shooting levels. And I feel like if they kind of just tied all the levels together, like if you pick campaign mode by picking campaign mode, it just lines all of the harvest runs up for you with this connective tissue in between. I feel a lot more people would be satisfied with this game instead of kind of feeling like it's overpriced or lacking on content.
Yeah, I think you nailed it for sure. It's more like the Marvel Powers, or even what was the game on PlayStation VR that was short. It was like 2.5, 3 hours long. That didn't really have a story. We would have mashed that. It would have been the game of the year if they would have had a story to it. Where you're skiing. I can't think of it.
Oh, Fracked.
Yeah, Fracked. So there's a lot of games out there that are amazing, that have amazing gameplay, but it's like you're getting, instead of the full piece of the pie, there's a chunk missing of it. And so because of that, it's not that the game or the pie in general isn't amazing. It's just not the full package. And I think like you said, it set that pace to where you were thinking, wow, man, I'm a part of this story. And then you get in and then it becomes exactly what it is, which is an amazing game. But it just feels like it's missing a little bit. And maybe they could still add that, right? Like, I mean, there's nothing saying they couldn't add the story over time. But
for sure.
It's seasonal. So, I mean, they could add a new story every season. So,
yeah, it's just weird because really it's just after the fall and Marvel Powers United VR that kind of made this awesome game, right? That even though it's great, it really isn't exactly what everybody wanted, which that's a common thing. What makes these two games unique is the fact that they gave people exactly what they wanted in the tutorial. But when you get into the game, that's not what you get.
Yeah.
It's an interesting dynamic that, again, I've only can think of 2 examples of this, but if we had more sequences like the way the game kicks off, I don't think very many people would be arguing about, whether or not this should have been the game of the year last year. I think it would be obvious to everyone at that point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, Paradise Decay says, who else likes to be jabbed and brought back to life?
My mom!
Oh, yeah, she does.
Anyway, that's going to wrap up the news this week and get us into the week's reminders. We do have a notable title out this week. Yeah, let's take a look at that.
Horizon bases were attacked by grinders of unknown origin. The question everyone is asking is, who are they?
I am pleased to announce that you have been promoted. You are now a full-time member of the Horizon security team.
Oh no, you aren't Reggie's replacement on the security team, are you?
We're going to be in trouble without Reggie. He could at least keep Jess in check. I don't think the same will be said for you.
It's essential to maintain a good relationship with your team. I hope you understand that. Without trust, you have nothing to fall back on besides a heavily armed, walking, flying mining machine.
Heads up, security. I have enemy combatants on radar heading for the rig.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, here we go.
The security team has been attacked at every Horizon base in the Ceres system from these GUOs.
But who could it be besides pro-extractors?
I don't know. Aliens?
What aliens? Do you mean some worms and amoebas?
We have a chance at stopping them once and for all.
Jess, can we just be optimistic for one day?
I am being optimistic.
Security team, help the miners evacuate. We are getting out of here.
Everyone, head to the hangar.
Let's move. And eyes on security.
When's the last time you've gone to space? Well, get ready to go back to space.
Vox Machinae, not only coming out of Steam Early Access this week, but also launching for Oculus Quest and Oculus Rift, coming to us on March 3rd from developer Space Bullet. And the cool thing, Roots, is not just that the multiplayer mech title that people have come to love over the last few years is finally leaving early access, but this is coming with a fully fleshed out story campaign, which nobody was expecting a month ago, and now here we are within days. This thing's going to be dropped on the world. A small team of developers here, Roots, putting this thing out. It's almost beyond belief what they've actually been able to pull off here.
Yeah, it's crazy. This game is dead. Or at least that's what people would have said a month ago. And I'd be like, yeah, I love this multiplayer. It's an old game. It's been out for several years. Some people play it, not that many people. Man, if this would have had a story campaign, this game would have been amazing. And now, everything that we said, I know we've actually had that conversation, they're working behind. That's why you never discount a good developer. You never know what they're doing behind the scenes. And I was thinking about this earlier, actually, because we went into battle the Star Wars game, right, for PvP last night, and I went from controller to HOTAS, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and I over time, over a couple matches, I figured out the buttons, right, and Siam made a good point, and it made me want to go back, and I'm gonna go back and play through the story campaign. He said, that when you play the campaign, it'll show you how to play. Well, that was one of the things with Vox Machinae. There's a lot of different aspects of the different ships on how to control them. Or I guess ships, I should say. They're really not ships, but kind of. So you're going to learn how to do them really well, and then you're going to go into the PvP, which is so cool because you can have. I mean, there's like 8 or 10 people out there, and so you got all your friends in there. I can see us doing exactly what we did last night for Star Wars with this game. Super cool.
Yeah. So much I want to say about this, but I can't right now because we do have access to it, and we are going to be covering it, but it is under embargo, so I don't know what I'm allowed to say. I have played it on Quest, and I'll just say that I'm impressed with it so far, and that's all I'm going to say about it.
I have not checked it out yet, so I can say whatever I want, but it's just the fact that you're saying that. That's awesome. I can't wait.
Yeah. Hopefully we get to cover it this Wednesday, although I don't know that we will because the game does not launch until Thursday. Maybe the developers at Space Bullet will be kind enough to give us a few hours leeway, as some other developers have been known to do from time to time. If not, we'll be covering this next week. But I look forward to talking about it, and you guys watch out. Again, out this Thursday on Quest, Rift, and Steam VR, Vox Machinae. And as Wolvie likes to point out, it's also on Viveport. So, yeah, keep an eye out.
Hussein X wants to know how the player base in Star Wars Squadrons is. I don't know. I mean, we started a public lobby, and somebody dropped in before we kicked them out, and because this is virtual strangers only. So it was cool. We did a private lobby, but the whole key is getting your friends in there. And it was amazing. We did 3-on-3, and I guarantee the next time we do it, which I suggest be a Tuesday or a Wednesday, and then we can get Wes in there, and it'll be awesome.
I agree. That is an awesome game. AAA VR, we love it.
Yep.
Not to mention the fact that it's Star Wars. That's just a bonus.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, we move on from this week's releases on to the Viveport Report. New title, kind of, for Viveport. After the Fall is out, and this is a little bit weird. After the Fall appearing on Infinity. And when you go to Infinity, look at After the Fall, it very clearly on the button states that this is for paid Infinity annual customers, which, you know, is normal. We've seen this with a few other big titles on Infinity before. What's interesting about it to me is if you like go to the Viveport main page, it says on there that new subscribers to Infinity Annual get to keep the game for free forever. So it seems like, which one is it? Like, do you need Infinity Annual to own it or to play it? Like, it says both. So I wouldn't count on being able to play this unless you're on Infinity Annual. But quite honestly, if you're on Infinity, you should be on Annual anyway. It's the best value, and they're all the time giving people games to keep in their permanent library. So yeah, those of you who are part of Infinity Annual and have yet to play After the Fall, it is available for you now to play via Viveport.
I got a question for you. I guess I kind of answered it in my head, I'm assuming, but everything's based on playtime, right? So I'm assuming they still, the more you play it, they're going to get more money for the developers, even though it's an annual membership. Should still apply the same way, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, that's cool.
It is cool. That is cool. And again, another way to support the developers, right? Like if you're going to play a game like this, and we don't know how the monetization works for all developers, but I do know specifically, I had a developer who does have a game on Viveport once tell me that their monetization structure is based on gameplay time. So the more people play the game, the more money they make. So this is a way that you can support the developers quite easily, even for games that you own. If they're on Viveport, play the Viveport version. Give a little more money to these devs, and you know they do amazing work, constantly giving us free content After the Fall included in that statement. So why not? Why not play it on Viveport?
Yeah, absolutely. If you like the game, you want to support the devs, so they give you more content. And you see that all these different Until You Fall or whatever, all these different games, these developers that you know, there's enough people supporting their game that they're still pumping out stuff years down the road. That's the model you want to support. So
absolutely. Speaking of supporting developers, it's that time again, friends, where I ask you to do your part. Join us as we do our part to support the developers, either by wishlisting a game, maybe one of the awesome games we talked about today, or maybe another game that you have on your mind, or even more helpful, leave a review. Especially on these games that like virtual reality that have a rough launch, it's hard for them to get out from underneath those initial negative reviews, even after they've put in the work to fix the problems. Now, in a perfect world, they would just wait and vigorously playtest their game pre-launch and make sure that it's right on launch. But that isn't always the case. So we can help them kind of dig out of that hole a little bit by going and giving a few minutes of our time to leave a review. And that's what I'm going to do this week. We've done wish lists for like the last month solid. I thought that I would do a review this week, and I picked a game that very much could use some positive reviews because it's a pretty good game that currently has mixed reviews on Steam. And that game is Warhammer Age of Sigmar Tempest Fall. And I've actually already got the review all typed out. It's actually pretty substantive. It's not my normal 3-sentence review that I normally do. This is actually a pretty lengthy one, and I'm going to post it right now. And I invite you all to do the same.
Yeah, absolutely. I just did a Steam. I don't know what's going on with my thing. I just did a Steam thing for Vox Machinae. I'm getting distracted here with, for some reason, my camera's freezing up, but it's not my internet, so the stream's still good. That's all that matters, I guess.
So check the box because I received it for free. I do recommend the game. Post review, and the whole first paragraph of my review is kind of a rebuttal of the kind of criticisms other people have had about the game. First of all, the game's had patches to address those, but kind of the things that people were being critical of doesn't really address the whole story, which there are other things about this game that people don't give nearly enough credit for being as great as they are, specifically the production value, the depth of the storytelling, and the use of scale, which is just, amazing in this game, breathtaking at times. I played a little bit of it today, and absolutely think that this game should be recommended at its $30 price tag, and is this is a great example of a game that's better than its reviews.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
So those of you who would be so kind, if you wouldn't mind getting on here and leaving a review, if not for Warhammer, maybe something else, do your part to support these devs. Give them a little bit of your time because they've dedicated their life to this, and some bad reviews can derail something that they've invested years in.
Yeah.
So what's our 5 minutes versus their years that they've put in? It's the least we can do, right?
Absolutely. Wolf Raza says, good show, y'all. Have fun this weekend. Throwing $3 at us. We appreciate you, Wolvie. You have a good one as well. And I would agree with you, Wes. I mean, it's such a small amount of time. And this is the reality. This is the selfish thing. The reason why you should selfishly do it for yourself. If you like the game, you're going to maybe get more content. And the developer of that game is going to branch out and make more games. And so, like, pay it forward and just buy the game. You just support them in every way, even if you can't, just at least add it to your wish list. And you're also going to be able to buy that when it's on sale. So,
absolutely. Dan Kim says, I tried playing the Hubris demo on my Reverb G2, but ran into a critical Steam VR error. Any idea how to run it? All my other games run fine. I don't know, man. I would take that error to the to Reddit, because I played the Hubris demo on my G2 without issue. Now, with that being said, I played this 6 months ago, and it was a demo that I got directly. Yeah, we got a demo directly from the developer 6 months ago. It wasn't the one that's on Steam. I haven't tried to play the one that they have on Steam right now. But now that you mention that, I can give it a shot. I can try to download the Steam demo and see if it's any differently. But if it's exactly the same as the one that I got, I didn't have any trouble at all running it.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, just I'll give it I'll give it a look, and then maybe post on the Discord if I have any kind of issues or anything with it. So if you haven't already, there's an invitation down below. And that reminds me of our fourth and final reminder this week and every week, and that is how you can do your part to support us, this channel, and our community. Of course, the easiest way and best thing you could do is subscribe, ring the bell. This makes sure that you can stay up with all of our amazing content here on the Virtual Strangers channel. It comes right into your notification box most of the time, not all the time. Sometimes it don't come, Roots, but most of the time it gets there, and that way you guys know when it's on, like Donkey Kong VR. Anyway, maybe you have already been a long time subscriber and would like to do a little something extra. Well, you can, friends, by donating to us on Patreon. That's right. $3 per month will get you access not only to our weekly show notes, but also insider updates and exclusive content, much like this week's Money Show live from Pop One. So, yeah, if you guys want to do a little something extra, just throw us a few bucks, less than $1 per week. Gets you quite a bit of cool stuff, and you also get peace of mind knowing that you did your part to help support this amazing community and growing VR channel. So thanks to all of our patrons out there, and thanks to anyone else who's considering it.
I would submit one of the best things. Just we were talking about this earlier. Wes's notes and show prep get better and better and more detailed and separated and sectioned, and like it gives you advanced knowledge to what we're talking about. And then behind the scenes, whenever we have a community thing like the voting at the end of the year, that's definitely a good thing to be a part of.
Yeah, I guess I should mention that you get the show notes before the show. It's not like I upload them after the show's over. Like you get the show notes at least 2 hours before we go live. Typically, it's more like 4 hours before we go live. So you can read through all these articles. Everything, every headline is linked to the source article. Every trailer and video clip we run is linked at the bottom of the page. It's a nice little newsletter if you're not someone who likes to read all of these different VR websites every day to catch all the headlines. I pick all the top ones. They don't always all make them in. Like this week, I cut a few out, but really the best ones that they end up making it into the show, and it's all linked up in one nice, neat little package here. I think that alone is worth the 75 cents a week or whatever it is that you're paying.
That's so cheap. I agree. And you know what, Wes? I was just thinking, what would be cool is all the times that you cut them, don't cut them from the show notes.
Just put a cutting room floor at
the
bottom.
cutting room floor for the patrons only. Isn't that cool that our minds are thinking on the same page, bro? That's why we're great partners.
Agree with that. And I want to thank Traveling Man 3775 coming through with the $5 donation. He says, "Have a good one, guys." You have a good one as well, friend. Thank you for the support. Anyway, what's left? Oh, only the third time that I remind you that you can join our family by clicking the invitation down below to the Virtual Strangers Discord. This is where we hang out 24/7, talking about VR, talking about flat games, talking about movies and music and life, getting together and playing games, hanging out, shooting the shit. It's a big family atmosphere on the Virtual Strangers Discord, and you will find your invitation in the description down below. Why haven't you clicked it yet, bro? Like, we've been asking you week after week to click the thing, and you still haven't clicked it.
Yeah.
Don't be shy. It's not going to be weird. We're not weird like that. Like, you can just come and lurk for a month or two and just see how things are. You don't even have to talk, and then you'll see. Over time, you'll see that we're not all that weird.
Yeah.
No weirder than you. I mean, we're all weird, but you're weird too. So come be with people who are like you.
You think you're better than me? You got to get in here. Come on, get in here. What are you doing?
Get in here, man. Come on. Come cry with us about PlayStation VR being pushed into 2023. Like, damn it. I'm going to go buy Quest just because of that. I'm just going to go buy Quest now just because of Brian Paul ruining my dreams.
Yep, absolutely.
And with that said, friends, I'd like to thank you all once again for watching. For Roots, I'm Wes. I'll see you Tuesday-ish. Bye.
Take it easy.